Well, hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Geaux Stros. We are back for game 2 after an unfortunate game 1 for the Astros yesterday. We are back for game 2 of a game 3 series. Looking forward to this one being better than yesterday. The Astros are now 1 game back of the Mariners. With a win today, we'll tie it up again. We really need the next 2 games for a couple of reasons. One is to retake first place. The second reason is because it will give us the series lead. Right now, the Astros and the Submariners are tied in the season series. I'm sorry, the Mariners are 1 ahead now. So today's game, if the Astros can win it, then game 3 will decide it. But if the Astros lose today, then the Mariners will take the season series away from the Astros. Well, excuse me. I need to get my coffee and help clear my throat out. Excuse me. My throat is really a little congested in there, trying to shake it and rattle it out. I got up a little early this morning and went outside and had a shower, my outdoor shower. It's nice to get up early and go outside and relax with a nice view of the forest and the mountain in the back and have a little shower. Feels pretty nice. Something that most people don't get to do. Howdy, Michael. Good to see you. Gregory, of course. Thank you for being here. Gregory's calling for Christian Walker, Yordan Alvarez, and Jeremy Payne to get some home runs tonight. Let's see who's in the Astros lineup. No Yordan Alvarez in the lineup, so if Yordan gets a home run tonight, it's only going to be because they bring him in. Here is the Astros lineup as it stands. One moment, let me clear my throat again. Give me 1 second, please. I've got some hot water here, really hot water. I need to put it in my thermos. Keep it nice and hot for my second round of coffee later on. I hope everyone is doing all right today. Underneath the Astrodome on this flat baseball field of earth. There is no edge, just stadium seats. Take a quick swig of this. You guys drinking anything? Guys and gals? If the ladies are listening, I wonder, what do you prefer to drink and eat or snack on while you're listening to or watching a baseball game? I wonder if it differs very much from what the guys prefer. All right, that's a little better. Whew, that's hot. Nice. Jeremy Payne is leading things off for the Stros today at shortstop. Batting second is Carlos Correa at third base. Isaac Paredes is the DH again today. He's batting third. Yordan continues to be out of the lineup. Jose Altuve is playing second base and batting cleanup. Victor Caratini is at first base today. How about that? Can you believe that? Christian Walker is not in the lineup. That's interesting. Two of the guys you called for home runs, Gregory, they're not even in the lineup. But Caratini's at first base and he's batting fifth. Counter Diaz is catching, batting sixth. Jesus Sanchez is batting seventh. He's in left field. Myers is in center field, batting eighth. And Cam Smith is in right field, batting ninth. I think that this lineup is a little more balanced. Take out Walker, put in Caratini. I like it. I think this is the first time they've done that. I've been calling for it for a long time. I would much rather see Caratini in the game than Walker. But they finally made the change. Yep, that's right, Michael. We have no more games to give. They are like Pokemon right now. Got to get them all. Can't afford to be 2 games back with 7 to play. It's not insurmountable, but we don't want to become more and more like the Rangers, where it just keeps slipping and slipping and slipping. Michael says, for all that is holy, please let Fromber stay focused and have a good night. A good night from Fromber most always equals a win. You're right. And after losing with Hunter Brown on the mound, he's our top dog, right? The way that the pitchers have been pitching recently, Jason Alexander has basically been kind of our number 2 guy, really, even though he hasn't been officially the number 2. He's been doing a more solid job recently, more consistent than Fromber. But Fromber still has the good stuff, Gregory wants the leadoff homer from Pena now and a pinch hit homer from Walker later on. There's a good chance they might bring Walker in depending on who the pitcher is. If they bring in a pitcher. Oh, but you know what? Now that I think about it, they might not. Caratini is a switch hitter. So there's a good chance we don't see Walker at all today. I don't see any benefit in bringing him in as a pinch hitter when you got Caratini in that slot. I forgot about that. We're back at Dykeen Park for Game 2. Submariners versus Stros. Good afternoon, Dale. It is 8 o'clock in the morning here in Hiroshima, so I'll say good morning to you. Every day's a great day. Win or lose, every day's a great day. But for the Submariners, yesterday was a pretty lucky day, actually, considering who the Astros had on the mound, their favoritism to win the game, and that they didn't score any runs at all. The Submariners got rather lucky. Combination of skill and luck. That's what baseball is. It's not all skill, but it's not all luck. And the scales can tip one way or the other at any moment. Baseball's an interesting game. Definitely need to win this one. Every day is a must win right now, right? Prodigy says, got the nacho cheese hamburger, refried bean and salsa, green chili nachos working for us today. That sounds really good. I love myself some nachos. Bill says that works. My son lives in Osaka. Every day awake is a good day. That's right. My opinion is if you are alive and not in pain, and it's a great day. If you're awake, you can move, and you're not in pain. These are good things. Showing some Astros celebration highlights. Once again, reliving the past. nothing wrong with taking a look at past victories. But it's funny, my personal preference is if they're going to show some past successes, I would rather see successes from this year, from this season. To me, it's more relevant than showing what they did in the last championship series and the last playoff series, or in the last battle for the division. Even at the end of last year when the Astros managed to barely squeak out the division, those things are fine, but I feel like they have less relevancy than what the Astros have done this year. You know what I'm saying? Gregory has to work in an hour. I see. Gregory, are you going to be able to listen in any to the game while you're at work, or is that too difficult? Or is it just a breaks only kind of thing? I know everybody has a different type of job. When I was teaching here in Japan, I wouldn't have been able to listen to the game at all. In between classes or when I didn't have a class, I could pull it up on my computer and look at the score. But if they caught me actually watching the game or listening to the game at the school, no, can't do that. I'd get in trouble for that. Completely opposite in China. China is much more laid back. If I didn't have any classes, I could actually pull up the game on my computer, this big computer screen, and right there in the office in front of the other teachers, I could play it, and they'd all be like, "Oh, is that baseball? That's cool." They'd be very interested in it, and it would make sense because to them, if I don't have classes, then it's like having a break, and I can do whatever I want. But Japan is a little bit more serious than that. It's kind of like, wait a second, you can't be watching baseball while you're at the school. So which logo are we gonna go with today, guys? I was thinking about putting up the old Colt 45 logo. What do you think? Come on. It's being so difficult. There we go. How about that one, the Colt 45s? How about we go back OG? I thought about doing the Colt 45 logo yesterday, but I went with the different one. But today I'm thinking, you know what? I want to go old school. Let's go with the Colt 45 logo in the background because we need to start scoring some runs. So let's pull out the gun, start shooting. Still got the Hispanic weekend thing going on. So they've got the Los Astros uniforms once again. They're wearing white today. I don't have a white Astros jersey. All I have is this one here and my orange Altuve jersey. Gregory says he'll be on and off walking to work right now. We'll be watching as I walk. Gotcha. Okay. Are you using headphones? If so, that's definitely useful. I remember my first job out of high school was working at a machinery plant, a plant, a precision machine shop. It was not a plant. There were less than 10 workers there. They taught me how to do like three main jobs. Pretty easy stuff. Running the drill press, cutting and threading pipe, cleaning the pipe, bending the pipe, stamping the pipe, just the basic stuff. These were for burners, gas burners that they would use to sell to companies who would use them commercially. You know the company called Frymaster? Well, I worked for a contracted company. It was a small company that made special burners for Frymaster. So they had a contract primarily with Frymaster. That whole company was built around just making these special burners for Frymaster. And when I worked there, I could put on headphones and listen to music or listen to, audiobooks or whatever. And listening to a game like this would be possible at that job. If I didn't have headphones on, I had to wear earplugs because it was kind of not really loud, but a little loud. Hey, Steel Viper, thank you so much. Super chat, early $20 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate that. Steel Viper is just freaking awesome. It's another guy who works really hard. He says, let's win today, but even more important, I hope everyone is doing well. That's nice. You've got your priorities straight. What kind of super chat? This is the let's get our priorities in order. Enjoy some Astros ball. Geaux Stros. There we go. So let's get our priorities in order. Enjoy some Astros ball super chat. How's that for a name? Thank you so much to Steel Viper for that awesome super chat. And also, thank you to my recent donors. Yesterday, I need to move that over so you can actually see it, I think. Oh, it's too big. Let me resize it. There we go. How about right there? Caesar Rios, Rusty Gamer, Sarcastic Prodigy, Mark Bryant, Sergio A. Rublikov. Is that how you say your name? If you're listening, Sergio. Gregory Martinez, of course, and Fritz, thank you so much for your donations yesterday. A little special thank you on the screen. And no doubt Steel Viper will be on there for tomorrow's game for the donation today. Thank you so much, sir. Dale says, glad I found you yesterday. Great page with the scoreboard and highlight clips, best on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's interesting, Dale, because, I know I haven't been doing the games for a really long time. I started just over a year ago, but I didn't even do the full season. I've been battling cancer, and I was in Japanese language school last year. I was working part-time in the evenings teaching English, and early in the mornings, I would do the games sometimes. I couldn't even do all the games. I could only do them sometimes. I managed to get about 185 subscribers, and I struggled. During the off-season, I didn't do anything at all. So between the end of the season last year and the beginning of the season, I didn't do anything. My channel was dead. But I continued to work on building out the scoreboard, doing some coding and stuff, and setting it up to where it was more automated, more lovely, useful, etc., etc. I'm still working on it. It's always a work in progress, I'm never content with it staying the same. I just want it to get better and better and better for you guys and gals. And anyway, as long as I'm able to stay here and keep doing it, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep growing the channel. And during the off season, instead of letting my channel just kind of pitter patter around, I plan to be doing some NFL and NBA games. I don't have much of a choice. Live streaming is kind of the thing that I do here. Very first pitch is a ground ball to Altuve, and he throws Rosarina out at first base. The very first pitch of the game leads to an out. Altuve, he and I both shaved today. Look at that. Altuve's got the little boy face, just like me. When I went to have my shower this morning outside, I decided to go ahead and shave real quick because I thought I had time, and I did. So I was able to get myself nice and smooth. All the Japanese ladies will be happy about that. They don't really like facial hair in general. 94 miles an hour right in there. The next batter is Cal Raleigh. He's at the plate, batting .246 for the season. He's got a decent amount of home runs. He's got 56. He's not bad at hitting homers. 78-mile-per-hour curveball below the zone. Ball one. Thank you so much, Gregory. Gregory Davenport says, I'm here. Hope your health is doing well. I'm glad you're here, Gregory. Eduardo Benitez. Let's go Astros for the series tie. Absolutely. Let's do it. In the dirt on the curveball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Raleigh. Wow. Slugging versus fastball. Cal Raleigh is actually at 642. Judge is up to like 842. It's crazy. That's a big difference. Next pitch, a changeup. This one also dips below the zone. It's a 3-1 count. Jake is calling 10-2 Astros. I certainly hope so. Take some of the wind out of the sails of the Submariners. Dale says, appreciate your honesty. Godspeed on the Battle of the Cans. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Best to you, too. Jake says, keep fighting the good fight. McMoore Lane says, keep on fighting. Absolutely, all of us. No retreat, no surrender, you know what I'm saying? 3 balls and 1 strike to Cal Raleigh. Here's the toss from Fromber. Grounded foul down the third baseline, and it is full. 3-2. Oh, yes. You know what? You're right. You're talking about crickets. Let me close that door. There are crickets outside. The crickets are really loud. I apologize. I went ahead and closed this door. It should be better now. Swing and a miss. Finally got him to go on that low curveball. Out number 2. Nice. Raleigh missed that one by quite a substantial sum. And that's out number 2, strikeout number 1. But McMoore, was it McMoore? No. Really? I had a Windows update last night, so I might have turned that information on. Let me see if my filters are on. Filters. Filters are actually on right now. Maybe it was just because I had this door open. The crickets were very, very loud. Here's the toss. Low and inside. Julio Rodriguez at the plate. The slider missing. Ball 1. You guys can let me know if it's better, but I think it's better now. Should be better. Yeah, and please hit the like button. You're right. Appreciate that. I haven't mentioned it yet. I often forget. Right on the inside edge. 93-mile-per-hour stinker. Ball 2. Just barely missing. You found the jalapenos? That's great. 87 below the zone on the changeup, and he goes after it, fouls it off at the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike on Julio. Yeah, he's a home run machine, but these guys are also strikeout machines. 78 low and inside. He misses the corner. It's another 3-1 count. Hey, I want the lobster traps full too. That means bases loaded. I want the Astros lobster traps full, but I just want them to bring them home. Bring them in. Load up the bases and bring them in. Speaking of getting guys on bases, that ball's in the dirt. A 5-pitch walk to Julio Rodriguez, and he'll be on base with 2 outs. Once again, the Astros get 2 outs and then start putting runners on base. What is the deal with that? What in the world is the deal with the Astros pitchers doing that? Is that also a problem with other teams? Maybe, Dell, you can tell us your opinion as a Mariners fan. Do you feel like the Mariners pitchers often get 2 outs and then start letting guys get on base? Does it seem that way to you too? Or is it just an Astros problem? He's going on the very first pitch. Here's the throw, and he's in there, it looks like. It's not a bad throw, but I think he had a really good jump. Rodriguez takes second base. Yeah. He took off really quick. Not a good catch by Altuve there. He didn't let it carry like Pena does. Pena lets it carry as far as he can. Here comes the next pitch. Eugenio Suarez at the plate with an 0-1 count. That's a ball. 1-1 is the count. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Top of the first. Prodigy, I see your comment there. That's really nice. This is hit up the middle. Myers is back. He can't get it. It's going to bounce over, and that's going to be 1-0 Mariners. Suarez goes to second base, no problem. I think we're lucky that he got that ball off the end of the bat, I think. Yeah, it was off the end of the bat. An 89 changeup outside. If he had gotten on the fat part of the bat, it would have been gone to center field, but turned out to be a line drive over Jake Myers' head. See, that's what happens when you have 2 outs and you start letting guys get on base. Altuve looks like a child, doesn't he, when he shaves? Jorge Polanco at the plate. The first pitch is grounded right up the middle. Altuve scoops it up, goes to first. So an easy out to end it, but not before the Submariners get one on the board. 1-0, 1 hit. Line drive double right over the head of Myers in center field, and 1 walk. Without that walk, it's still 0-0. So Fromber, that 5-pitch walk comes back to bite him in the bootay. Prodigy says, today's a really big game. I absolutely agree. But there are things in life that are more important than this game, as we've listened to what you've told us of your story. Thank you, Prodigy. But you know what? I will say this. I'm not unique. You know, there are some people out there. There are a lot of people that are suffering worse than I am, that have much worse things to deal with day to day or moment to moment. And there are also a lot of people that they go about their day to day stuff without thinking about anything. You know, there are a lot of young people in the world that think that, and I'm no different. I was the same. You know, when I was younger, I never thought about being sick or that, you know, I would have anything to worry about. You know, you kind of think you're going to live forever when you're younger. You just do whatever you want. You have fun. You drink a lot of Coca-Cola and you eat a lot of junk food. You know, you do a lot of things. And maybe when you get into your 20s, you drink more alcohol. Some people, not everybody. I wasn't one of those guys that would party. My brother was. My brother got into drugs and smoking and tons of alcohol. He was arrested 3 times under DUI charges and stuff like that. So he had a big problem with partying and drinking. He was in party mode for a long, long time. From the time he wasn't even in his 20s yet when he started doing that, all the way up until he was like 40 years old. I mean, he was in party mode for like 20 plus years until he finally started to calm down. I was never a party guy, never drank much, never smoked, never did drugs. No, none of that. I guess my thing was just not remaining active, allowing things to affect me too much, emotional stuff, and eating bad foods. Pena hits the first one right to third base. Suarez snatches it up and fires it to first for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Bottom of the first, this is the Astros' first opportunity to do something. Correa is coming up and Isaac Paredes is on deck. But I do appreciate all of you, by the way, supporting my channel, what I'm doing here. My plan is to keep building it out and keep growing it and stick with it. I've decided to shift my focus slightly with the channel to professional Houston sports simply because I can't afford to take off during the off baseball season. That's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to South Korea. George Kirby is on the mound for the Submariners. He got a 4.45 ERA right now. Doesn't really mean anything. I think that the ERA of the pitcher doesn't really matter to the Astros. They're a coin flip in how they respond to the pitcher. That's a good example right there. Opposite field single for Correa. He's going to be on first base with 1 out. You never know. You might have a 7 ERA guy on the mound and the Astros can't hit him. And then you have a 1.5 ERA guy on the mound and the Astros light him up. You never know. So we'll see how it goes today. But the Astros finally have a hit. 2 hits, 1 for the Stros, 1 for the Mariners. Mr. Paredes at the plate. 97 above the zone. There we go again, just like yesterday. 2 inches above the zone, called a strike. If he keeps calling like that to Paredes, either Paredes is going to have to adjust or he's going to get really angry like yesterday. He calls timeout. My nickname for Isaac Paredes is the Fast Turtle. But right now, because of his hamstring, he's the slow fast turtle. Hopefully, Fromber can keep himself together. You're right, Jesse. We'll hope. Here's the toss. Low and outside, 1-1. Should be 2-0, but whatever. Break out the rye bread and salami. Hey, I like me some rye bread and salami, but rather I see the meatloaf. 89 low and outside on that outside corner. Swing and a miss by Paredes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, Suarez is, he strikes out a lot, but he's got some power. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Kirby. Well, he threw his bat and hit out the right side. It might drop. Hey, he can't get it in foul territory. Naylor was over there, and at the last moment, he throws his glove out there. He lost it for a second. Then the last moment, he realized nobody's out there, and he tried to throw his glove out there and get it, and he couldn't get it. Paredes, when he swung his bat, he lost his bat. He just threw it out towards the pitcher, towards Kirby. And you can see right here, he just couldn't work it out. Works in the Astros' favor, so Paredes will have another chance. It counts 1-2 with Correa on first base, 1 away. Here's the toss. Half swing on that high fastball. I think Paredes kind of have not much of a chance to swing on that one, or not much of a choice, rather. Kind of dangerous to let those go when they're a couple of inches above the zone with the umpire calling them. That's strike 3. I wish he had gotten a full swing against it, though, instead of that half swing. Good question, Daryl. What is it with giving up runs in the first? Altuve's at the plate. It's my hero. This is another reason why I'm interested in doing these live play-by-plays, is because Altuve is my all-time favorite athlete. Just love him all around. Everything about him on and off the field. His backstory. Everything he's done. Outside, ball 1. The count is even. It is my honor to call his games. I would really like to be able to call them until his retirement. That'd be great. 1 ball, 1 strike to Altuve with 2 outs. Here comes the toss. Little high and outside, 98 miles an hour on that stinker. 2-1. Dang it, Bobby. Here comes the 2-1. He hits it up the middle. All right. Correa will make it to second base. And Altuve is on with the second hit for the Astros. Another single between the shortstop and second baseman right next to the bag. Nice smack. 89 mile per hour slider low and away. Now we have runners on first and second. That's right, the Batman is up. Still Viper's got it going on. Victor Caratini comes to the plate. Looking forward to Caratini having a good day today. He got hot, and then they stopped playing him. I got really frustrated about that. Here comes the first pitch from Kirby. A little below the zone. Good call by the ump. Ball 1. Hey, Bubba. It's been a while. Yeah, it has. Haven't checked in a little bit. Let's go, Stros. Good to see you back. A big hit right here by Caratini would be just what the doctor ordered here in the first inning. Here's a 1-0 toss. Ooh, 89 mile per hour slider right in the center of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shake says load up the bases. Well, I don't have any problem with the lobster traps being full, but we need to bring them in. Let's bring them home. Big hit. Here's a 1-1. Fouls it off. 97 right at the top of the zone. A difficult pitch to hit, but that guaranteed would have been called a strike. Can't be angry with him for swinging at that. Dale, you're being a little sarcastic there, but actually I think the Astros had 3 hits yesterday, so you're not quite right. Let's see here. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Caratini. Here's the toss to the Batman. Whoa, up and inside on the 98 mile per hour stinker. Almost got him. But then again, you have to be careful. Caratini's pretty good at acting like that. I think it's hilarious. He does a little dance. Whenever the ball is inside, even if it's a strike, he'll do this dance where it's like it almost got him, you know. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. Good take. Knuckle curve low and inside. It's a full count. Either Caratini comes up big or Yiner comes up with bases loaded. These are our only options. Kirby comes off the mound to take a little break. Grab himself a Snickers bar or something. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, full count. Here's the toss to the Batman. He grounds it to second base. Naylor is going to cut it off and toss it to the pitcher, Kirby, at first, and that'll be it. The Astros come up with nothing. Strand a couple of lobsters. The Astros come up with, what, 3? Yep, 3 lobsters that inning. So 3 opportunities to move guys over. The Astros do not do it. 2 hits, no runs. Astros are down 1-0 going into the top of the second. Not surprising for them to get runners on base and not bring them in. It's kind of a common thing, right? Jesse says, wow, Indians, I mean Guardians. It's the Gardindians. They won their 9th game. You can call them the Gardindians. That's what I do. I refuse to call them the Guardians. They are the Gardindians. Absolutely, Prodigy. Hopefully the Astros score a lot more runs than yesterday. They definitely can. I mean, starting off with a couple of hits in the first inning is fine, but they're not going to be able to miss those opportunities often. 50% of the time, we need to drive in those runners. If we can drive in our base runners 50% of the time, if we, like, even if you just talk about the runners in scoring position. If we drive them in 50% of the time, we'll win. It's pretty simple math. Mr. Page says, remember that time the Mariners won the World Series? Yeah, me neither. Ron says, I'm late, but happy to be here now for tonight's win. Thanks, Geaux Stros, for tonight's great call. You're welcome, Ron. Thank you for being here to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, for those of you who have not liked the live stream, please go ahead and do that for me. Man, I'm still hearing man, those crickets are so loud, even with the door closed. I don't want to have to close my other door. If I close my other door, I think it'll get too warm in here. Man, even with the door closed, I think I'm going to have to go out there and kill some crickets. Why are they so freaking loud? I know that it rained a lot recently, but it's not nighttime. It's 8:30 in the morning. Be quiet. Go to sleep or something. Might have to try to change my mic settings to filter out those crickets. That's a curveball low and inside for strike one. Josh Naylor at the plate for the Subs. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, or 0-1 rather. He hits out in the shallow center field. It's going to be hard for Pena. He can't get it. He tries to make a basket catch over his shoulder, and that's going to be a hit. Kind of ironic considering how Naylor missed an over-the-shoulder basket catch on the foul ball, and now he gets a hit on an over-the-shoulder to left center field. He tried. Mr. Page says the crickets are appropriate with this current offense. Well said. Point taken and noted. Low and inside for ball one, Mitch Garver at the plate. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Runner on first. Garver at the plate. Valdez on the mound. 18 pitches. Oh, that was 19. The runner is stealing. Here's the throw. Bad throw. Diaz looked like he wasn't ready for that one. Naylor gets a stolen base. How can this guy move so fast, being as thick as he is? Naylor does not look like a base-stealing fool. But then again, this is the Astros, so I guess everybody can steal. Fromber, being a left-hander, could be holding these guys on a little bit better than that. Fromber, I think, is terrible with runners on base. Now we have runner on second with no outs. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Garver. That's in there on the outside edge. A sinker. 2 balls and 1 strike. Space City Home Network is behind me? That's interesting. Low and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Fromber threatening to walk another guy. Last thing we need to do is get into another jam. Right here in the second inning. Come on, Fromber, get it together. That's in there. 92-mile-per-hour sinker. Full count. Here comes the... Nope. Fromber comes off. Naylor. I acted like he was going to steal third there, but Valdez came off to let him know, I see you, sucker. Yeah, I think the M's did win 116 games, but it's useless if you can't go to the big show and win it. Here's the full count. That's hit high in the air to center field. Might be a tag by Naylor. Myers is underneath it. He makes the catch. Naylor runs over to third, no problem. 1 down. Runner at third. Victor Robles comes to the plate in just a moment. Yeah, Fat Man gets a steal. He kind of reminds me of Paredes' size in a way. Maybe he's a little bigger than Paredes actually. Paredes isn't slow, but he's not fast. He's maybe kind of quick for his size. That's why I call him a fast turtle. Here's the first pitch. That's line drive foul, or line driven. Foul down the third base side. Strike one to Robles. Mr. Page, that's right. Naylor has almost 30 steals and no one knows how. That's true. That is true. This is hit hard to left field. Hit really hard. That's going to score the run easily. And there's another sacrifice fly by the Mariners. Naylor comes home. It's 2-0 with 2 outs. Robles hits it pretty deep. So basic old school ball. Get a guy on, steal a base, and hit a couple of deep balls for the sacrifice fly. 2-0. Nobody on. Now we're at 2 outs. Let's see if Fromber can actually shut it down now. 94 right in there on the sinker. J.P. Crawford at the plate. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the second toss. Grounded to the left side. Correa knocks it down and fires it to first, and that will be out number 3. So Fromber doesn't go crazy with the 2 outs on the board, but he does give up another run thanks to the single. Once again, you know, in the first inning, the walk, getting the walk on the bases cost them a run. In the second inning, it was a lucky hit that cost them a run, because without that difficult catch and miss by Pena, there wouldn't have been anybody on base, and it would basically have been 3 up and 3 down. So the Mariners have gotten a little lucky for the first 2 runs. And that doesn't bode well for the Astros. If the Mariners are going to be getting runs off of luck, then they really have to make sure that they are shutting everything else down. That means the pitching has to be better. The defense always has to be on as usual. It has to be 100% no mistakes. And on top of that, the Astros actually have to score runs. They got to be hitting the ball and driving runs in. The Crickets are the Astros fans. Yeah, that's right, guys. I didn't tell you, but I'm actually at Dykene Park. That's why you can hear the Crickets outside. I'm in a special room, a special booth at Dykene Park, and when I open the door, you can hear the fans outside, the Crickets. Correa does have a cannon for an arm. He really does. It is helpful. Mr. Page says when your first baseman can steal runs for you, it's helpful. That's right. Our first baseman, he can catch a ball in the dirt. He can scoop it up, no problem. He can catch a line drive, no problem. Catching the ball is not a problem. Putting wood to leather on the ball, that's a different issue. Happy Today says, howdy. The chat seems to be disabled. Really? It's working for everybody else. It's working for me. I think it's working for everybody else. It's on the screen. So maybe you just need to refresh or something. Yainer Diaz is at the plate. That first pitch is about 1.5 feet above the zone. Ball 1. You know, the stadium's actually packed. Dykene Park has a ton of people there, so the Astros got plenty of support. They said it's a sellout yesterday and today. 2 balls and 1 strike. George Kirby on the mound. Here's the 2-1. 87 miles an hour, fouled off down the first base side and into the crowd. Maybe Yiner will give us an opposite field hit. You know, why isn't Kirby pink? I thought Kirby was fat and pink. This Kirby doesn't look fat and pink. Yeah, the chat is actually on. Happy, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Here's the toss. 97 at the top of the zone, and he fouls it off again. Yeah, actually, in about 1 minute, the LSU Tigers are starting. I want to see that game, but this is priority. 97 above the zone. Full count. Good at bat by Yiner so far. Pitches in the zone have been fouled off. Pitches out of the zone have been taken. 3-2. 26th pitch of the game for Kirby on the way. There we go. Opposite field hit. Exactly what I was thinking he was going to do. He was getting around and going opposite field, even on those really fast fastballs. That one was a 97-mile-per-hour sinker right in the top of the zone. Diaz is on today. You know what that means? That means the Astros are going to score some runs. If Diaz is hot, I think the Astros will score some runs. We got a runner on first with no outs. Sanchi at the plate. Buddy Sanchi. 97 above the zones. It's ball one. Come on, Buddy Sanchi. Shake's got it right. Let's freaking go. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. 88 right on the outside edge for strike one. 1-1 is the count. No, the chat is on the screen. I don't know. Oh, that's strange. Hang on just a second. Let me check it. Maybe I need to refresh it because it's actually showing on my software. Let me check. Hang on just a second. I'll fix that. Fouled back by Sanchez. The count is 2-2. Maybe I need to refresh the chat right quick to make sure that pops up. I see what you guys are talking about. In my software, it's showing in my software, but it's not showing on the feed, right? Okay, there it is. There it is. Sorry about that. Fouled back. Yeah, I have basically like 3 different things to look at. I have my software feed, I have the YouTube feed with the big chat, and then I have the final output, but I don't see the final output as different. In my software, the final output was correct. So I don't understand why it was not showing on my software, but whatever. Here's the toss. 98 miles an hour. Sanchez can't get around on it. He wasn't on top of it like Diaz was. Swing and a miss on the fastball, and he strikes out with the 2-2 count. Diaz was on top of those. Sanchez was not ready for it. 1 down. Here's the toss. 98, up and out. Jake Myers at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Come on, Jake the Rake. He ain't no fake. Here comes the 1-0. High and inside, ball 2. Mr. Page says our offense is also disabled. Okay, Mr. Page, I'll see if I can refresh the Astros offense in my settings. I'll do my best. Here's a 2-0 to Jake Myers. Little outside, 3-0. Yeah, it's kind of strange because in my software it was showing that it was on the screen, but in the on YouTube it was showing it was not. So I don't understand why the disconnect there, but I just had to go into the settings and refresh it. I think it's because of the update. My microphone was also off when I started my software. I hate those stupid window updates because they always change my settings. Here's a 3-1 pitch. This is grounded to second, might be a double play. Easy double play. Are you kidding me? Crawford makes a terrible throw to first base, but man, Crawford almost he almost gave us another terrible throw to first base to get us out of that double play, but it couldn't have been more gift wrapped. Easy, easy double play for the Mariners, and that's it for the Astros. They waste a hit. 3 hits for the Stros. 5 left on base. 5 lobsters lost. 2 lobsters lost for the Mariners, but they have 2 runs on the board, so they're looking good. 2-0 is the score going into the top of the third. I'm interested to see what the scores are. I heard that Brian Wu with the Mariners has a minor pectoral inflammation, pectoral muscle inflammation. Scoreboard. Red Sox beating the Rays 1-0. Yankees over the Orioles 3-0. Marlins over the Rangers 1-0. Rangers continuing to struggle, looks like. Royals and Blue Jays 0-0 right now. Nothing else really of note except for the Braves beating the Tigers. That's great. 6-5. How about that? Nice. Tigers need to keep losing. Astros need to start winning. It's funny how the A's can be in the top 5 most home runs on the road and yet not have a better ranking in the division, you know? Framber Valdez is back on the mound. He's at 28 pitches, 17 in the zone. Randy Arozarena is at the plate. Top of the batting order for the Mariners. That's in there for strike 1. Here comes the next toss. Her ball drops below the zone for ball 1. 1-1. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that he doesn't have like an elbow or shoulder problem. Ground ball to Altuve, who lobs it over to Caratini at first base. Out number 1. Cal Raleigh due up in just a moment. He's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Here comes the first pitch to Raleigh. Nice pitch. Curveball in the bottom of the zone, strike 1. That is a nice toss. Another nice toss. Another one in the bottom of the zone, but a stinker that time. Raleigh takes that one. Counts 0-2. He calls a timeout. The Big Dumper. Worst possible nickname anybody could ever have. This is hit into right field. That's gone. Dale, you got it. Number 57. Right center field into the bullpen. And the crowd is booing. It makes me wonder, are they booing Cal Raleigh or are they booing Framber Valdez? Should be booing that guy right there. Valdez. 3-0 Mariners. Where was that pitch? 95-mile-per-hour sinker right across the belly. Couldn't have been a better spot. Valdez just watching it with his hands on his hips. Good job, bro. It's the beginning of the end for you, my friend. I'll tell you what, Fromber's not going to get that big bag at the end of the year, guys. And he honestly doesn't deserve it. How are we going to go through the playoffs with Fromber pitching like this? You know, now the Mariners have guys, they have runs on the board thanks to walking, hits, and homers. The only thing left now for Fromber to do is hit somebody and then that guy to score. And then we'll have kind of the cycle, you know. They'll have guys scoring on hits, hit by pitch, walks, homers, scoring in every possible way. Luck, all the above. Another ground ball to Altuve. He throws it over to first, and that's out number 2. This game looking like yesterday's game already. That's no good. Look at this. Tomorrow is Fan Appreciation Day. Today and yesterday, not Fan Appreciation Day because the Astros aren't scoring runs. We don't appreciate the fans, so you pack out the stadium and we're not going to score. We refuse. We are boycotting the bats. 1 ball, no strikes to Suarez. 2 outs, nobody on. 36 pitches now for Valdez. Here comes the 37th. 86 fouled away on the slider. 1-1 is the count. Let's get some run support. Darlene says Fromber needs to go. Yep. Fromber is past his peak. I feel like even though he's got skills, you know, 2-1 to Suarez. I think that he had his time already. Here's the 2-1. Below the zone. 3-1. Here we go again with the 2-out struggle. Yeah, maybe we'll find out later on that the big dumper is the big roider. He's on the roids. That's in there for strike 2, full count. That's going to be a huge disappointment, right? We find out that Cal Raleigh is on the drugs. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Suarez. Wow, he almost hit him in the feet. That's ball 4. Should have hit him. Just go ahead and hit him. If you're going to do that, you're going to throw such a terrible pitch. Just go ahead and hit him. Punish him. Go ahead and get the full set. Get the whole collection, Fromber. Jorge Polanco comes to the plate with a runner on and 2 outs. Ground out last at bat. He actually has a tremendous batting average versus Valdez. He's batting .461 against him. Fouls that one off. Strike 1. Dale, it sounds like you're trying to convince yourself more than me. But you know, it's possible. It's happened so many times. These guys get up there. I mean, think about it. Think about baseball history. 89 below the zone on the changeup, swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count to Polanco. How many times have we seen these guys start breaking these home run records and start going crazy at the plate, and then we find out later on that at various times and for various lengths of time they were on drugs? It's just a common thing. It's too common. Here comes the 0-2 count. There's the toss. He rips it down the third baseline foul. The count stays 0-2. Uh, taboo? How can you tell me what's taboo for me? No talk about cheating? Taking drugs is not cheating. Taking drugs is against the rules. That's like it could be illegal. You're talking about something that goes beyond. But I don't cheat, so I don't know why it's taboo for me to talk about that. That's outside. And by the way, if you're talking about Astros, every team cheats. Get real. You need to be realistic here. Lots of players cheat. Every team cheats. The Astros were just singled out, and that's the truth of it. You can't accept that, and your eyes are closed, or you're denying it. This is hit into center field. Should be an easy out for out number 3. Myers puts it away, and that's it for the inning, but not before another solo home run is given up. 3-0 on 3 hits for the Submariners. We go into the bottom of the third. The Astros also with 3 hits, but nothing on the board yet. Let's see if they can turn that around. Cam Smith is due up, followed by Jeremy Pena and Carlos Correa. I think you misunderstood my comments, Dale, when I said nobody talks about cheating. First of all, I didn't say nobody talks about cheating on my channel. What I'm saying is that the narrative of calling the Astros cheaters right now is number 1, not applicable. Number 2, it's tired and played out. Number 3, it's been the Astros have been singled out for that, and people don't have anything else to fall back on whenever their team loses. So, for example, some fans like, for example, just recently, the Texas Rangers podcaster guy, his name is Bryce. He, after the Astros swept the Rangers, he came out and made a video, and he called the Astros literally cheating a-holes. Now, this is just hatred. That's not delivering an opinion. That's just being hatred. And that's what I was talking about yesterday. So if a person is going to come in here, somebody who's a fan of the Mariners or the Rangers or any other team, if they want to come in here and start calling the Astros cheaters and cheating a-holes, for example, then they're kicked out. That's what I was saying yesterday. I hope you can understand that. You seem like a reasonable guy. I'm talking about factual history. Once again, I think I already made this clear, but I'll say it again in just a moment. But Cam Smith is at the plate. First pitch from Kirby is up and in for ball 1. Here's the thing. Let's take a look at baseball over the past several decades. The fact of the matter is that we've had a lot of guys start getting hitting records and hitting a lot of home runs. This is grounded up the middle. It's handled by the second baseman. Broken bat, grounded out. Cam Smith is thrown out at first base, and that's 1 down. Jeremy Pena will be up in just a moment. But here's the problem. I've watched baseball my whole life. And what I've seen again and again and again is these hitters start hitting the ball a lot and breaking records, breaking all these old records that were held for long, long, long periods of time. And then you find out later on that there were drugs involved. What I'm saying is Raleigh is doing something right now that is insanely above and beyond anything else that anyone has done. And so it just makes me think about all of those times in the past. Pena is thrown out on another ground ball up the middle. 2 down. 2 ground balls straight up the middle and 2 outs. Carlos Correa comes to the plate. So I'm just pointing out a historical trend. I didn't say that Raleigh was a cheater, but now you can call it cynical if you want to, but actually for me, it's not being cynical. It's just being honest. That it has happened so many times where players come out and they have a breakout season and they do something unbelievable at the plate. They're hitting tons of bombs. And then we find out later on that during that time they were they were taking some supplements or drugs or something that was helping them perform. It's just too common in baseball. That's a fact. The 0-1 pitch to Correa is outside. One ball. What? They call that a strike? Look at that. It was outside the zone. Okay. 0-2 should be 1-1. 2 outs, nobody on. 0-2 pitch. Above the zone. I'm surprised he didn't call that one a strike. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off into the crowd. Count remains 1-2. Mark's very interested in the Cleveland performance. Gardindians. One ball, 2 strikes, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Kirby having a little bit of an issue getting that third strike from Correa. Correa did have a single earlier to opposite field into right. He's fighting right now, trying to make something happen. Be nice to see a long ball from the Astros. Haven't seen one in a while. 99 at the top of the zone, fouled off on the right side. That was a fast pitch. I think that's the fastest one that Kirby has thrown this game. Count remains 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 again. He taps that one at the plate, and it's going to stay fair. Raleigh throws it to first base for an easy out. 3 easy ground outs for the Mariners. Kirby had to work a little bit that time to get Correa. But that's going to end the third inning. It's 3-0. Astros still doing not much at the plate. 3 hits, 5 stranded runners, 5 stranded opportunities. 3 hits for the Submariners. 3 stranded opportunities, but they have 3 on the board, so that doesn't really matter. We go into the top of the 4th. Fromber is going to be back up on the mound. He's not getting much of a rest. You know that he's going to be complaining about this. He's going to probably say that it's difficult for him to perform. It's difficult for him to perform when he doesn't have time to rest. I wouldn't doubt it at all. Oh. Oh, that's strange. Okay, I see what happened. Something just fell down. I was like, holy cow, what was that? That was heavy. I've got a drawer underneath my desk over here. It's a drawer that I never use, and I keep bumping it with my chair. And it fell out. It's a cheap desk, though. So, no big deal. Marduk says McGuire, Sosa, Homeroyd, Homeroyd Derby of 98 may have saved Mariners and Expos and a couple other teams from going broke or exiting the league. MLB was struggling bad before that season. Well, you know, that's the sad thing about it is that whenever these players start doing these amazing things, there's a big narrative around it that really causes the game to become more interesting and a lot more people get involved and it brings in more money. And MLB wants that. They want that. They want people like Ohtani. That's why I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, there's a lot more to the Ohtani betting thing than we've been told, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense about it. Here's a pitch from Fromber. He's facing Naylor again. That first pitch is just at the bottom of the zone. Looked like it could have been a strike, but he called it a ball. 1-0. But guys like Ohtani bring in way too much attention and money internationally. Outside, on the check swing, they say he didn't go. 2-0 is the count. But they're gonna give space to those guys, even if they did something wrong. It's kind of like they're bringing in way too much attention and money for us to do anything about it, really. This is a grounder down the first base side. Caratini grabs it no problem and steps on the base. Naylor's gone. 1 down. Mitch Garver comes to the plate in a moment. So, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Cal Raleigh, all of these guys doing these big things, whether they're cheating or not, it's most likely not. It would not come out until much later, because why not ride the gravy train now, get all of that benefit, and then give them a tap on the hand later on? That's the way MLB seems to deal with things, unfortunately. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Garver. Outside edge on the changeup. Nice toss, 1-1. Hey, Hammond. Hammond says, stopping in to say Geaux Stros. Hope they win the division. Thank you. Geaux Stros indeed. That's outside. 2-1 is the count. As I make myself a second and weaker cup of coffee. 2-1 count on the way from Fromber. Just below the zone. Did he go? They say he did. Strike 2. 2-2 to Garver. Barbecue calling you, man. I wish I had myself some nice American barbecue. Japanese barbecue is good, but it's very, very different. Swing and a miss. Finally, a strikeout. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Just 2 strikeouts for Fromber in 4 innings. 2 down. Victor Robles comes to the plate. Now, here's an opportunity for Fromber to have his first 3-up and 3-down inning. He's given up a run every single inning so far. Here comes the toss. Nice, right in there. 94-mile-per-hour sinker. Strike 1. Jeffrey says our coach was fired. Many players and coaches let go. We lost a first and second round pick in 2021, and we still own the AL West. Whoa, right up the middle, right through Fromber Valdez, and there we go. No clean inning. Robles grounds it right through the legs of Fromber, and there was nobody there to get it. Why did they have such a big gap? Huge open area between Pena and Altuve there. I'm surprised that nobody was playing right by the bag, but once again, Fromber gets the 2 outs and then gives up a hit. Hopefully, there won't be another run given up this inning. Come on, Fromber. J.P. Crawford at the plate. Here's the toss in the dirt, ball 1. Jeffrey wants to know if I'm calling a double header tomorrow. What double header? You mean like the Astros and the Texans? I'd like to call the Texans game tomorrow, but I'm not sure that I can. We'll see. 1 ball, 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Fromber throws it over to first base. Robles is back, no problem. The Astros announcer said that the Astros fans have done their part. They've shown up and packed the stadium. Here's a steal attempt. Did they get him? They say he didn't. I'm not so sure about that. Pena wants them to check. The crowd is booing. I think that looked like it could have been an out. Are they going to review it? I don't know about that, man. That looked like he was out. Yeah, right on that lead knee. He was off the bag. He was off the bag. He came off the bag. He was out. He still had the glove on him. He came off the bag. Look at that. Right there. He comes off the bag. The Astros don't challenge it. So we have a runner on second 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. J.P. Crawford at the plate. Joe Espada is going to regret that if Fromber gives up another run right here. Why did he not challenge? He was out twice on that throw, no kidding. The tag was there before he got to the base, and then he came off the base, and his glove was still on him. He was out twice. First of all, how could the umpire miss that? And second of all, how could Espada not challenge that? I have no idea. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the toss to Crawford. Nope. Fromber comes off and fakes the throw to second base. 60 pitches for Valdez right now. Two and 2 pitch on the way. In the dirt on the curveball. 3 and 2. Full count. Elvis, you're right. He doesn't want to play the postseason. He just wants to get ready for his bag, but he's really hurting his bid for a big bag. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Fromber after a long delay. Fouled off. It was right in there. Count remains 3 and 2. Okay, Jeffrey, I see you're talking about the Astros and Texans. If there's no overlap and I'm able to do it, then for sure I'd like to do that. But after this game, I'll have to take a look and see if I'm able to do that or not. But if so, I will definitely post it. But thanks for asking. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. So Fromber luckily gets through it with a strikeout. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game. This is the first inning. Fromber has been able to walk away without an extra run on the board. So the Mariners score in the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, come up short in the 4th, despite a bad decision by Espada not to challenge the safe call at second base. Let's take a look at these scores right quick. Actually, I want to see what the schedule is for tomorrow. For the Texans. Ooh, that's a 2 a.m. game. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I guess that's a noon game. They are playing, I guess, in Jacksonville, it looks like. Texans need to quit fooling around and score some touchdowns. It looks like they are having similar issues. I mean, giving up 20 points and then 14, that's not bad. But scoring just 19 and 9, that's not good. That's almost as low as the Astros. Oh man. This game, the matchup predictor, according to ESPN, has Jacksonville at 52.8% chance of winning. The slow, fast turtle is at the plate. Isaac Paredes had a nice little double yesterday, but he only got to first base because he's not running full speed. Low and outside. Ball 1. Here comes a 1-0 pitch from Kirby. Little outside. Oh my gosh. That was high and outside. 3 inches outside. 3 inches outside the zone and called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 96 on the outside edge, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Man, this umpire, I swear. If I'm the batter and I'm getting calls like that, I just want to put the bat down and walk away. I don't even want to bat with a terrible umpire like that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If many of the players would start doing that, maybe MLB would be forced to use the strike system, the ball strike system, you know, the automatic system. Maybe they'd be forced to implement it right now. This one's hit high in the air to the left side. Suarez is underneath it, puts it away for out number 1. Most runs created against Seattle. Jose Altuve, 47. Yordan Alvarez, 46.1. And then it's Otani, Judge, and Garcia, Adolis Garcia. The top 2 are Altuve and Alvarez. That's funny. 96 miles an hour above the zone. Speaking of Altuve, he's at the plate right now. He had a single his last at bat. Wouldn't mind seeing him visit the Crawford boxes right here. There comes the 1-0 pitch. Little above the zone. Once again, called a strike. Altuve is like, dude, really? That's at his nose. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the toss. Outside and high. 2-1. It's like the commentator said, it's hard enough to hit the ball in the majors, you know? It's hard enough to deal with these at-bats and these different pitchers. But when you're also having to fight the umpire and adjust, I know that it's part of the game, but when it's really egregious, it's ridiculous. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 97 right in there, and Altuve fouls it off. He knew that was a good pitch. It was a good pitch to be swinging at, and he wasn't able to straighten it out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here is the next pitch from Kirby. That's hit hard into right center field, and it's going to be taken by the center fielder. He's able to get there in time. He gave it a ride all the way out to the edge of the warning track in center field. 2 down. Not quite good enough. If he'd gotten around on it, it would have been gone for sure. The Batman Victor Caratini comes to the plate. Here comes the first pitch. On that outside edge, upper outer corner, strike 1. Next pitch is fouled off. Little was an accidental check swing. Bounces off the bat of Caratini. The count is 0-2, just like that. Dale, who are you talking about? Here's the toss. In the dirt. Almost hit him in the feet. 1-2. He can't even hit it when it's dead center. I don't know who you're talking about. I haven't seen anybody not hit it this inning. That's fouled off down the third base side, rather. Count remains 1-2 against Caratini. Here's the pitch. 98 miles an hour up and in, 2 inches above the zone. I'm telling you guys, I'm serious. 2 to 3 inches above the zone, 2 to 3 inches outside the zone. This umpire is consistently calling trash for Kirby. And it's so shocking. It's so shocking that after the pitch is thrown, the Astros batters are standing there like, of course that's a ball. And then suddenly they get rung up strike 3 and they're like, what? Are you serious? I think, Dale, you don't understand what a lobster is. And the Astros have not been having a problem getting the bat on the ball, so you're incorrect about that. Kirby only has, let's see here. He's got, what, 5 strikeouts? No, 3. I'm sorry. Just 3. He only has 3 strikeouts. So the Astros have been putting the bat on the ball just fine. I don't know who you're talking about. Did you just drink some alcohol or something? You smoke something? A lobster is a person on base, okay? And if you don't move him around, that's like losing a lobster. That's what it means. So if there's nobody on base and they don't, there's no way to create a lobster if there's nobody on base. So I think you don't understand the terminology. One team's trash is another team's treasure. Did you take a break? I don't think you took a break to eat barbecue. I think you took a break. Maybe that's a metaphor for something else, like some weed or no, no. It's the lobster is terminology that we use on the channel here, that we created on the channel to reference left on base. Lobster, left on base. Has nothing to do with zeros on the scoreboard. You haven't been around on the channel, so I don't expect you to know that. All right, low and outside. I have a video on it if you're interested. You probably won't go check it out, but you can go watch it if you want. Wow, I thought that was a ball. They actually called a strike, but it doesn't matter. Ground out. Rosarena goes down. He's 0 for 3 today. At least there's one Mariner not contributing to their success. Well, if he's going to call the trash calls for against the Astros, then he should be calling trash calls against the Mariners. Can't be going one way with it. First pitch to Raleigh is a line drive foul down the third baseline. Strike 1. 1 down, nobody on here in the top of the 5th. The Astros down 3-0. Shake says, this is ridiculous. Come on, bro. I waited all day for this game. I agree. Here's a 0-1. Below the zone and inside. One ball, one strike to Raleigh. Good grief, my coffee's too full. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Did you see that? That ball was at the top of the zone. Take a look at this. This is a strike. That's a strike. He didn't call it. You see that? So Caratini over at first base is probably like, what the heck? Why wasn't that a strike? That's below the zone. 3-1. Okay, 2 to 3 inches above the zone against the Astros, called a strike every time. At the top of the zone against the Mariners, called a ball. You can't tell me that that's not deliberate favoritism by the umpire. It is, I'm telling you, it is beyond unacceptable. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. Raleigh's walked with 1 out. So why is it that George Kirby throws the ball 2 to 3 inches outside the zone, 2 to 3 inches above the zone, gets called a strike? But whenever Fromber throws it there, or even on the edge of the zone, when it actually is a strike, it's called a ball. Why is that? Explain it to me. Ground ball on the right side, and it is through for a single. Raleigh rolls to second base. Rodriguez on first base. 2 runners on with 1 out. You know what, Charlie? You guys know me, okay? I've been doing this all season long, and I don't say rigged game with these games lightly. But right now, this umpire is looking rigged. Right now, he really is. 94, just a couple inches inside. Called a ball, of course. That will never be a strike for Valdez. Not in this game with this umpire. 2 runners on. 1-0 pitch on the way to Suarez. Wow. I'm surprised we got that one. Low and outside the zone, called a strike. Astros get 1 back. Now he needs to give us about a dozen more. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. That's the only way we can really get a strike. Curveball below the zone. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody likes to watch any game, any contest, when it's not fair. And it's frustrating because all you can do is watch it happen. You can't do anything about it. Yeah, what are we watching? That's a good question, Shake. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 79-mile-per-hour curveball, low and away. Suarez can't handle it. Go sit down, boy. Take your long locks back to the dugout. That's how Fromber's going to have to get those outs. Can't depend on the umpire. You got to throw some good pitches. 79-mile-per-hour curve. I believe that's 5 strikeouts for Fromber. Polanco gets angry because that ball was at the bottom of the zone, called a strike. Be quiet. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to even hear it. Don't you complain about location, my friend. Here comes the 0-1 count. Swing and a miss. 80 miles an hour on that curveball at the bottom of the zone. Good toss. 0-2. 2 outs. Yeah, they got 3 hits, but that was shut down after the first couple of innings. They just stopped, right? Crowd is cheering just a little bit, kind of lethargic right now. Wake up. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Curveball on the outside. I'm surprised he went after that one. Fouled it off. Count remains 0-2. If you guys and gals have not liked the live stream, I appreciate you doing that right now. We've got 120 watching, 70 or so likes. This is grounded through the hole on the left side. They're going to wave. No, he stops. It looked like they were going to wave him in, but he stopped. Probably a good idea. But bases are loaded now with 2 outs. Just stayed up too much. Not nearly as much drop on that one. Right between Pena and Correa. Another hit for the Submariners. Miller's going to come out to the mound and have a little chit-chat with Fromber right now. Give him a break. Find out what's going on. Hey, you know we have like 2 outs. You just need 1 out, right? He should say obvious stuff like that just to make Fromber think, are you a fool? Hey, Fromber, here's an idea. Just get this guy out and don't give up any runs. You got that? Okay. This is it right here. Either Fromber gets the out or he gives up the game. This is up to Fromber. He's either going to keep us in the game or take us out of the game right here. Most important point of the game right here at the top of the fifth. Josh Naylor at the plate. Lefty on lefty crime happening right now in Daikin Park. Jaden Murray warming up in the bullpen. A righty. Here's the toss from Fromber. Curveball inside, ball one. Shakes, take him out, take him out, take him out. If he gets through, if Naylor gets on somehow in whatever way, I'm sure that they're going to pull him after this. We'll see. That's in there. 95 mile per hour stinker, 1-1. Shake is calling for the grand slam, but I don't know. Fromber doesn't give up a lot of home runs anyway, but a lefty on lefty, there's an even lower chance of that, I think. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball in the dirt. Yiner wanted him to swing at that one. He wanted that strike on the check swing. He says no swing. We're going to take another look at it. Ooh, no, he held. He held. It was a good call by the third base umpire. I mean, it would have been nice to get it, but it wouldn't have been fair. Charlie says, bleh. Amen to that. I'll double that. Bleh. Bleh. Crowd is all sitting down nice and quiet. Let's go. Come on, Astros. Do something here. Fromber, 2-1. With 2 outs. Bases loaded. Pitch. Nice pitch. Sinker. Bottom of the zone. Fouled off at the plate. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is turning into too much. I might have to find a way to call that Texans game regardless. Just to get my mind off of the Astros performance right now. We still got half a game left. Astros still have 5 more innings of batting to go. Anything can happen. Here comes the 2-2 delivery to Josh Naylor with bases loaded and 2 outs. Oof. Curveball outside. He does not swing. Full count. Why does it always come down to this, right? In the most important moments, 2 outs, bases loaded, full count, right? Here comes the toss from Fromber. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Nope, 95 sinker fouled off. Rusty, I think probably not. Fromber is doing 2 things right now. He's making it difficult for the Astros to depend on him anymore. And number 2, he's losing his value on the market. He's really, really hurting himself right now. He may not realize it, or maybe he does. Maybe that's why it's affecting him. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Outside. He walks in a run. Low and outside on the sinker. 4-0. Crowd is booing. Joe Spot is going to come out, and that's going to be it for Fromber. Yeah, Shake. They had Murray warming up. I'm pretty sure that they were going to take him out if he didn't get through Naylor. That's it. 87 pitches for Fromber today, 53 in the zone. Gives up 4 runs. More pending. He's got bases loaded right now, so Jaden Murray, I believe, is coming in the game. If Murray's able to get the next batter, then all is fine, but these 3 base runners are on Fromber, so any other runners that get in are going to be on him. He's only given up 6 hits today, or he only gave up 6 hits today, but he walked 4. 6 hits, 4 walks, 4 runs, and possibly more to come. It just depends on how Murray does on the mound. We'll see. This was Fromber's most important outing of the year, I think. Definitely his most important outing of the year for many reasons. And he blew it. RGR, you think I'm going to read that just because you send me a chat? I never banned you. I put you in timeout. But, you know, like I've said before, when people start saying stuff like that, they have no reason to be on my channel. So, see you. Your comments, you might not realize it, but your comments don't appear on my channel anymore. They're gone. Jaden Murray is on the mound. The first pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Mitch Garver at the plate. Oh, 1 is the count. Here comes a pitch for Murray. 97 above the zone. Fouled off. The count is 0-2. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Jaden Murray on the mound in relief of Fromber Valdez, who gave up 4. Murray trying to get out of this inning, keep the Astros in the game. That's hit out to left field. Is it going to be playable? Correa is over, but it sails into the crowd, so it's out of play. 0-2 count remains. Yeah, Rusty Gamer, the RGR guy, I banned him for, or I put him in timeout rather for 24 hours. And as soon as he got out of that 24-hour timeout, he comes back in with that. So, yeah, he got his last troll. People are not garbage, but they can choose to be garbage. They can choose to act like garbage, and he just acts like garbage. So, no room for that on my channel. Rooftop, I'm doing okay. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in. 0-2 is the count. Dominic Canzone is at the plate. Apparently, he is pinch hitting. LSU winning 14-0. That's good to see, but expected. Swing and a miss. 3 pitch strikeout. So Murray gives up 1 of Fromber's earned runs that was on base, but could have been worse. Down by 5, 5-0, going into the bottom of the 5th. So basically, the Mariners have averaged 1 run every inning so far. They scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, none in the fourth, but 2 in the 5th to make up for it. The Astros, on the other hand, have been going gangbusters at the plate. We have a whopping goose egg on the board. It's 5-0. 7 hits for the Submariners, and they have walked 4 times. The Astros have 3 hits, no walks, no runs. Let's see if they turn it around in this inning. I understand midnight sports. Maybe, just maybe, if I were just watching the game and not live streaming it, maybe I would well, I know for sure what I'd be doing right now if the score were 5-0 and I weren't live streaming, I'd be watching the LSU Tiger game and I would just be checking the score of this game occasionally because I wouldn't watch it. So I can't blame you. Dale, I'm going to put you in timeout for 10 seconds. Rooftop Sports says I come in peace. Plus, I've had Astros fans on my channel. No problem. You don't need to. You don't need to try to defend yourself. As long as 94 up and outside to Yiner, but called a strike. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside. 1-1. Yeah, Rusty, I don't know how I left that on by accident. Sorry about that. Here's the 1-1. I'm sure I'll get a claim later on, but we'll see. This is an easy fly ball out to right field. Robles puts it away for out number 1. 9 batters in a row retired. The Astros go down left and right with ground outs and fly outs. Yeah, guys, I got it. Your comments are coming in a little late, but I got it. Luckily, though, I will say this, though. The commercials don't usually give me a copyright claim, so that's probably not a big deal. I'm sure they're happy to have the commercials play. Sanchez at the plate takes that one up and outside, but called a strike again. It would be nice if the strikes were actually just in the strike zone. Wouldn't that be nice to have an actual fair game? But still, hit the ball, you know. That's well above the zone. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, I appreciate it, Rusty. Now, there is a difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike. A copyright claim just basically says, hey, that's our content. You can use it, but we're going to claim it so that we can get the money from your channel. So if that happens, what I do is I go trim it out. I go cut it out because I don't want them getting my money. As long as I trim it out later on, I can edit and trim it out. It means I can keep my revenue, because I definitely don't want MLB, and they don't need it. They don't need my money, and they don't deserve my money. I'm doing this work, not them. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sanchez. Come on, Sanchi. Strike 3 at the top of the zone, 97 miles an hour. Espada claiming, griping about that again. Now, that one was a better pitch than the others. It was at the top of the zone, but he's going to choose to come out and complain about it. He throws him out before he even comes out. Espada gets thrown before he even gets to the umpire. He wasn't even saying anything when he came out, and he threw him out. He also threw out Snitker. He's thrown out 2. As soon as they came out of the dugout, he threw them both out. Now, this one was at the top of the zone. That one was not as bad as the others, but many pitches have been 2 to 3 inches above the zone. They just chose the wrong one to come out and complain about. But still, that's the thing. This umpire, they said that he throws out the coaches as soon as they come out of the dugout. He doesn't even talk to them to see what they have to say. Whether they're legitimate or not, doesn't matter. Why is he still there? Why is he still there? I thought he threw him out. 96 miles an hour on the inside. Jake Myers at the plate with 2 outs, nobody on. That was strange. He did the throw out motion as soon as Espada came out, but Espada is still in the dugout, so explain that one. 1 ball, 1 strike to Myers. Here's the toss. Fouled off, 96 up and out. Sails off into the crowd. Spada's still in the game. I guess he... Okay, maybe Snitker is the one that got tossed. Espada didn't get tossed. Maybe that's why Espada came out. He wanted to talk to him about Snitker. Snitker, one of the batting coaches, he got tossed. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Myers. I can tell you what the Astros' problem is. It's their system, their off-field discipline and hitting system. That's strike 3, 98 right in there. You got to swing at that, Mr. Myers. That's a rare pitch, a strike right in the zone. That's called right in the zone. You could have swung at that one. 98 right in the zone, didn't swing. And that's it for the Astros in the 5th. Once again, nothing's going on. But it says, what do you think this offense needs to improve? Now, here's the thing. Some people are blaming the Astros hitters, right? Just all of the batters. But you can't do that. You can never just blame the entire team. Because the Astros come out in one game and they'll score like 7, 8, 9, 10 runs and destroy the other team. And maybe they'll win 3 games in a row like they did against the Rangers. But then they start shutting down completely the whole team. No hits, no runs. They lose a game, they lose 2 games, they lose 3 games. They lose 4 games against a team like the A's, for example. It's complete coin flip from one game to the next or one series to the next. And when that's the case, you cannot just say the Astros are in a slump. The hitters are in a slump. They need to just snap out of it. Sometimes I hear some of the subscribers or some of the commentators, the podcasters say, oh, the Astros just need a spark. You know, maybe Paredes comes in and he gives the Astros a spark. Or whenever Yordan comes back, he gives the Astros a spark, and then they all get with the program. No. No. None of these are the issue. The issue is that every baseball team, okay, whether it's the minor leagues or the MLB or whatever, every serious league, every serious baseball team has a hitting system. They have hitting coaches, they have a head coach, and they are responsible for putting hitting systems into place. And the hitters are supposed to adapt to that system. And of course, every hitter has his own unique abilities, strengths, weaknesses, etc., etc., but they still have to fit into that hitting system. And so they need to focus on developing the discipline of those hitters. They need to focus on the performance within that system of each hitter, and then they need to manage it in the game, not just per game and not just per at bat, but sometimes per at pitch, because depending on what's going on in the game and who's on base and who's pitching and what the count is, etc., the batters and the hitting coaches need to be continually changing things and shifting things around in order to make sure that they are following the system that's in place. And since the Astros are 100% inconsistent at the plate, and they have been, by the way, for the past couple of years, it's not just this year. They've been falling apart with their consistency over the past couple of years. And because of that, it tells me that it's the system, it's the hitting system, it's also the hitters, it's the coach, and even the manager, Dana Brown. It's everybody. Everybody's responsible to different degrees, but everybody's responsible. So I don't blame the Astros hitters 100%. I blame them 50%, and everything else is on the coaches and the manager. It's too inconsistent. Literally a coin flip. So anyway, I showed you some highlights there J.P. Crawford is at the plate. First pitch is a ball. Second pitch is outside, ball 2. It looks like there was more altercations. There were more altercations with the umpire, and he tossed some more people. So apparently, in between innings, if I'm not mistaken, Espada came out to talk some more with the umpire, and he finally got fed up and tossed him out. So, but the Astros have every right to complain about the pitch calls. They've been really bad. See, look at that. That would have been called a strike on the Astros. It was a couple inches inside, called ball 4 to J.P. Crawford. And the crowd is booing. Why? Because even the crowd knows that these pitches have been called strikes against the Astros. Runner on first with no outs. Rosarina comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. 96 above the zone. Dale, don't go rubbing everybody the wrong way in the chat. Don't be a sore winner. If you're a sore winner, then you will get kicked out of here. Have some respect. This is not a toxic chat. Yep, look at that. 95 just above the zone. Called a strike for the Astros, but not or against the Astros, but not for the Astros. It's 2-0 to Rosarina. Here's the pitch. 93 on the outside edge, hit out to right field. Cam Smith makes a great catch out in right field. Holy cow. What a great leaping catch. Crawford has to go back to first base. Finally, something to cheer about. Look at this great catch by Cam Smith to rob a Rosarina. That was going to be a multiple base hit right there. Wow. Jumping and catching that at the track. Holy freaking cow. Can't rely on the umpire. Got to do it ourselves. One down. Runner on first. Here's the pitch to Kyle Raleigh. Strike 1. Dale, calm down a little bit and be a little more respectful, man. Don't stir up crap in the chat. 0-1 is the count. Here comes a pitch. High and outside to Raleigh. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's hit really hard out to right field, but it's foul. It wouldn't have quite been a home run distance. It was close, but 1 ball and 2 strikes to Raleigh. The Lion says I'm fired up. Here comes a pitch. 97. You know, it's funny because the Mariners do have plenty of live streams. Mr. Page says, are there no Seattle live streams out there? Nobody cares if the Mariners are. Well, yeah, there are actually several Seattle sports live streams. So if you're a Seattle fan, it doesn't really make any sense to be here. The only difference is that I'm showing highlights and clips of the game, and I know for a fact that most are not doing that. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Raleigh with 1 out, runner on first. Here comes the next pitch from Jaden Murray. Swiffer on the outside. Misses 2-2. The fact is that the Seattle sports guys that are doing the live streaming don't have as good of a live stream as I do. So they come in here because even though I'm commenting for the Astros, speaking of which, for the Astros, that's a strikeout. Raleigh goes down. Looking. 2 outs. So despite there being options, plenty of options for Seattle commentators, they do not offer the unwoke experience with the good graphics. That's the fact. 97 right in there, strike one to Julio Rodriguez. Mr. Page, I appreciate that. Because Geaux Stros is superior. Seattle has no fans that can do what you do here. Well, that's the thing. I don't see really anybody. I've seen some channels that have like, they've been around for a while, of course. I've only been around for a little over a year, but there are some channels out there that have, even Dodgers channels, they have like 25, 30,000, 40,000 subscribers. But even what they're doing isn't as nice as what I've set up here. So it makes me feel good. There's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 82, Swiffer right in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. There's one called Seattle Sports or something like that. They've got quite a following, I believe. Or in NW Sports, something like that. They do the games, but I don't think that they're good. I don't like their style. Some of these channels, I don't get it. They play this really loud, crappy music, maybe like hip-hop music or something in the background, and they talk really loud. This is one guy that has like 2 microphones. He might be the Seattle guy. It's really annoying to listen to him. Here's the 1-2 pitch outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Jaden Murray. Rodriguez fouls it off. The count stays 2-2. Yeah, I use you right. Cal has been pretty quiet so far, but a quiet cow is a good cow. To be honest, I don't know. Assuming that the Astros are in the playoffs, who's the second in the rotation? Well, I will say this. If Alexander has a really good game tomorrow and the Astros win, then he tosses his hat into the ring of being the second guy, but that might be a controversial thing, you know? It's kind of like one of the, that's high and outside. The count's 3-2. One of the, do you guys know the podcast at Sports Map Houston? Stone Cold Stros. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. That's hit high in the air. Should be playable. Sanchez is underneath it. Floats around, grabs it, and that's out number 3. All right. So 1 walk for Murray, and then 3 outs. No harm, no foul there in the 6th inning. 5-0. Astros need to start making a run. They've got 4 more innings of hitting to do something. But anyway, the Stone Cold Stros broadcast, there's a guy on there named Josh. And Josh was talking about this with the other 2 guys, Charlie and Brandon. These are the guys' names that do the Stone Cold Stros broadcast. And they asked this question, you know, in a situation like that, who would you choose to go with? And Josh said, well, I think I'd have to go with Fromber, but I wouldn't like it because of, you know, where Fromber has been. Number one, because of the ability that he does have, right? When Fromber is good, he's one of the best. He's one of the best in all MLB. If he's good. But if he's not there, then he's just going to cost the Astros the game. However, Jason Alexander isn't an ace pitcher, right? He's not an ace starter. He has been dependable for the Astros. But starting a dependable guy in game 2 of a playoff series versus a guy who has been in playoff situations before and been really good, but has struggled a little bit recently. What do you do? What do you do? I need to stretch my legs just a little bit. Let me run in here. Cam Smith is at the plate. He's facing George Kirby. Kirby's still on the mound with 76 pitches and 50 in the zone. Whoops, I'm going to have to wait. Can't go in there yet. I'm going to have to wait to stretch my legs. We're already back. That was a quick break. 1-0 to Cam Smith. Here comes the pitch. Right in there, 95 miles an hour, 1-1. Here comes the toss. Swing and a miss. 87, low and outside on the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, Antifa roams free, and Sean Kemp has dozens of children. Sean Kemp. Oh, man. I've been to Seattle once. It's a shame because it's such a lovely area. But yeah, the politics there are just insane. Here comes the pitch. Little tapper. Could be an infield hit. He can't handle it. J.P. Crawford lets us down. Not at all. Likely was going to be a hit anyway. J.P. Crawford tried to barehand it to throw him out, but he couldn't handle it. He dropped it. So Cam Smith is on base. Yeah. Even if he had been able to grab it, I don't think he would have been able to make that play. Cam Smith just too fast. We have a runner on first with no outs. Leadoff runner. Top of the order is up. The Flash is at the plate, guys. Come on, Flash. 96, outside edge, strike 1. GI Mariners. GI Mariners. Thanks for the $2 GI Mariners chat. GI Mariners. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Pena. Long delay by Kirby. Maybe he's delaying the inevitable. The Astros destroy him this inning. I wonder how long they'd keep Kirby in there. How many runs would they let him give up before they pull him out? 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1. Outside again. 2-1. Yeah, I think that Espada and Snitker are watching the game from the clubhouse now. Yeah, Yush. I think J.P. Crawford is like an error machine. He's one of those guys, 97 right in there. He fouls it off. 2-2 is the count. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to the Flash. He hits it up the middle. It's going to get through. All right. Crawford dives for it, but he can't get there. And Cam Smith, with his fast wheels, goes over to third base. He scoots it over, and Pena is on first. Nice single. We have runners on the corners with no outs. Back-to-back hits. An infield single for Cam Smith, and one right up the middle for Jeremy Pena. And that brings up Carlos Correa. Yeah, let's start bringing in the lobsters. Let's start bringing them home. Wow, look at this. LSU beating Southeast Louisiana in the second before halftime, 28-0. As it should be. I mean, Southeast Louisiana, come on now. It's like a high school team playing an elementary team or something. Not really a serious game. The Astros, I mean, the Tigers are expected to win that one big time. Not surprising. Kirby up to 85 pitches. He only has 56 pitches in the zone. Here comes the first pitch to South Korea. 89 low and outside, swing and a miss on the slider. Yep, bring the lobsters in. We caught a couple of them, just need to bring them in. Come on, Korea. 96 up and in, swing and a miss. So low and out, swing and a miss. Up and in, swing and a miss. It's not going to take much to bring in at least one run. You got Cam on third base. Here comes the 0-2 toss outside. 1-2. Might do the surf and turf, Charlie. Steak, chicken, and shrimp. Steak, chicken, and lobster. I got somebody going in the bullpen right now. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Kirby. 98 on the outside edge. And that is a swing and a miss. Who do you think's going to win? Google says the Astros, but I'm seeing Mariners. Also, I meant let's go Mariners. I think that Google is a little behind because if it's familiar with the current score, then it would not choose the Astros. I think it's going on. It's based on pregame information. First pitch to Isaac Paredes is way high and outside, ball one. Paredes at the plate had a nice hit all the way to the wall yesterday. That'd be a perfect hit today. That would score 2 runs. 1 ball, no strikes with 1 out, runners on the corners. Oof. He took a swing at that one. 88 mile per hour slider, strike 1. 1-1 is the count. But yeah, I know that you meant go Mariners or good luck Mariners, but I was just joking around because it looked like GI. I was messing with you. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside. Good take, 2-1. I don't know of any Astros fans that can tolerate the Mariners. It's just one of those teams. 2-1. Here comes the toss. Paredes hits it really hard. But man, look at that. Way up into the rafters. Whew. 97 mile per hour pitch, and he turned on it. Went straight up, but he hit it really hard. Put that one into the Crawford boxes, my friend. If Paredes is able to crank one out, you know that the Astros are back in this game. They've got multiple pitchers out there warming up right now. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Paredes. Whoa, way up and inside. Full count. Full count. Kirby hasn't walked a runner yet in this game. He steps off the rubber. Google knows all. That's right. Here comes the toss. He rips it foul down the third baseline. Count remains 3-2. Charlie says, I can't stand any team that isn't the Astros. Stephen Okert and Colton Gordon are warming up in the Astros bullpen. Here comes the full count pitch again. Paredes rips it foul again. Man, he is putting the bat on the ball. 98 mile per hour sinker there. Come on, he socked the ball. He socked the ball. Runners on the corners, full count. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. It's your time, bro. It's your time. Here comes another full count pitch. Fouled off again on the right side this time. 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the low part of the zone. Paredes is classic right now. Is this not classic Paredes or what? Putting up a big at-bat here, making Kirby pitch and pitch and pitch. This is what Paredes does. Here's the full count. Ah, he finally misses it. 97-mile-per-hour fastball, and he misses it. That's out number 2. Can't believe he didn't get a piece of that one. He fouled off so many. But Jose Altuve comes to the plate. My personal hero. He's got one single today. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that too, Mark. Why Pena doesn't go ahead and steal. Why not just take second base? Maybe it's because he's so fast, it's not worth the risk. Here's the pitch to Altuve. 97 on the outside edge, strike 1. Yeah, Mr. Page says the Mariners, am I right? They have few fans, but somehow the most trolls. Yeah, they don't have a huge fan base, but they sure do like to come over here. Pena is going, and that's a ground ball to the middle. He's easily able to throw Altuve out at first base. So Pena finally decides to steal, but it doesn't matter. Altuve grounds out. He looks really upset about that. So we catch a few, we get them in the boat, and we lose them before we can get them back to shore. So we lose the opportunities once again. The Astros had an opportunity to close this gap to just a few runs, maybe even a couple of runs, but they don't capitalize on it. We had 2 guys on with 1 out, and the next couple of batters just couldn't get it done. Paredes had a great at bat. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He had a great at bat. He took a lot of pitches. He fouled off a lot of pitches. And in the end, the one pitch that he couldn't get the bat on was a strike 3. Altuve grounded out. He got the bat on the ball, just not in a spot that was good for the Astros. That's unfortunate. Well, Ayush, the Astros have a hitting system problem. It's obvious. I'm already tired. I've been tired for weeks of people speculating and asking, what's the problem? It's obvious what the problem is. They have a batting system problem. And getting it fixed right now is unlikely. They don't have much time in between games to address their hitting problem. It would be nice if they could get these issues, the batting issues, addressed and fixed right now, but I think I've already said before several weeks ago that the chances of them being able to successfully do that pretty slim. Colton Gordon is on the mound now for the Astros. The first pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Second pitch misses for ball 2. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Right in there. 2-1. Lobster count is pretty bad, Marduk. Let me type it up for you. Here's the next pitch from Gordon. Swing and a miss. 81 mile per hour Swiffer. It's 2-2. There's another ball. Full count. I have been keeping up with the Texans on the last two games. You know, not very detailed. That's hit out to left field and off the wall. It's going to be fair. Easy double for Suarez. 2 doubles for Suarez today. 2 line drives all the way out to the wall. That one to left field. Well, that's one to center field. That was a Swiffer at the bottom of the zone, right below the zone. He went down to get it. Right in the corner. I mean, just 1 foot away from the foul line there. When it's 79 miles an hour, you got plenty of time to get the bat around on it, that's for sure. Here comes the pitch. 91 miles an hour. At the top of the zone, fouled off by Polanco. Strike 1. Runner on second, no outs. Here in the top of the 7th, Colton Gordon dealing to Jorge Polanco. Yeah, you can't be in the chat if you don't subscribe. That's just to help keep some of the scammers out. This is hit to center field, and Myers tries to dive for it, makes a terrible play on it. That is very, very rare for Myers. He cost the Astros a run. He could have just backed up and played it, but that's going to score Suarez. It's 6-0. And that kind of sums up the game so far right there. Jake Myers plays it terribly in center field. Why bother that? Why, if you know you can't get it, he could have played it back. He could have kept the runner at second, or maybe even third, but as a result, it scores a run. Polanco at second base, and they extend the lead by another run. Josh Naylor at the plate. Can't be making those mistakes. It's a ground ball up the middle. Pena grabs it, throws it to first base. Naylor is out. It's 1 down. Polanco goes to third. Do you... Of course, I could show the full game, but what do you think is going to happen to my channel if I do that? I mean, use your head. 80 miles an hour right in there. I don't get asked that question very often. Why don't you just show the full game? But I think if you use your common sense, you'll understand why. I mean, think about it. Really think about it. What will happen to my channel, my live stream, if I just show the full game? Seriously. Think about it. Foul ball. 0-2 is the count against Dominic Canzone. That's right, Mr. Page. He says, Mariners fan, watch and learn and stop asking distracting non-baseball questions. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The Swiffer from inside out. Canzone goes down on a 3-pitch strikeout. Gordon gets out number 2 with the K. Yeah, it's a silly question for anybody to ask. Why don't you just show the whole game? This is YouTube. It's not my private server. If I show the whole game, it's obvious what will happen. Here comes the next batter, Victor Robles. He breaks his bat and hits it out into left field. That bat almost hit Correa. Sanchez catches it out in left field for out number 3. But it's 6-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. The Astros still haven't put any runs on the board. So the Astros decide to be patient and hit the ball against the Rangers at home. The crowd comes out in full support. A complete sellout yesterday. It seems that it's another sellout today. The fans come out in big support. But you know, it's like the villagers back home. They were brought a lot of lobsters, you know. 3 days in a row they feasted and things were looking awesome. And then the next day out, all day long, every time the boats come back, nothing. Nothing to give the villagers. And they're like, okay, well, maybe tomorrow. And now we are through most of the day. And each boat that has come back so far, 6 boats have come back with nothing. And they tell the villagers, well, we caught 11. We caught 11 lobsters, but we lost them on the way back. And because it's starting to get late in the day, the sun is starting to go down. They only have enough time to send out 3 more boats. The 7th, the 8th, and the 9th inning. The villagers are starting to get concerned. There might not be any more food again today, 2 days in a row. You can easily buy licenses. You have no idea what you're talking about. Go look up online how much it costs to get a license to broadcast MLB games. If it were that easy and that cheap, like you make it out to be, then everybody would be doing it. Come on, don't be silly. I'm being as nice as I can, but don't be silly. 99 below the zone. Carlos Vargas is in the game for the Submariners. Kirby is out. Caratini is at the plate. The Batman. 2 balls and no strikes. Mr. Page says, that's how you know it's a troll. You'd have to be not so bright to ask that question. That's hit pretty hard to right center field, all the way out to the wall, and it's caught right at the warning track. The cameraman was kind of fooling us there. He wasn't sure where the ball was. Caratini drives it out right to the warning track, but put away by the center fielder, and Yainer Diaz comes to the plate with 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Yeah, Mark, you're right. 18 straight scoreless innings. But that's the Astros this year. Here's the toss. 98, fouled off to the right side. Pretty deep on that foul ball, but not far enough to do anything, and it was out of play. Strike 1. Go on, Yainer. Can you at least give them 1 shiner? Let's break the goose eggs. 99 up and in, swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. Here's the toss. 99 below the zone. Ball 1, 1-2 on the 99 mile per hour stinker. Goodness gracious. What a day. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Bounce to the third base side. That's going to be an infield hit for Yainer. There's not even a throw. 2 hits for Yainer. 1 out, 1 runner on. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Buddy Sanchez. Sanchez goes after the first pitch, fouls it off. Strike one. 99-mile-per-hour sinker. Let's, whatever your name is, the strange name that you have, whatever it is, dogism, calm down and refrain from engage. Sanchez with the opposite field single. Back-to-back singles for the Astros. Now we have runners on first and second with one out. Dogism, the truth is that this is an Astros channel, so don't come in, stirring up stuff and asking silly questions in the chat. Don't create friction between me and yourself or yourself and others. Just respect the live stream for what it is. Myers bunts the ball down the third baseline. A little too hard, but it goes foul anyway. 0-1 is the count. A little surprise bunt there. I'm glad, though, that one didn't make it. He bunted it way too hard. Suarez probably would have had time to tag third base. Rooftop Sports, are you in here promoting your channel? Come to my page since you're a Mariners fan. I'm going to put you in timeout for 30 minutes because of that. Ground ball thrown to first to get the out, but runners advance to second and third. 2 outs, but we have 2 runners in scoring position. Myers grounds out, and that'll bring up Cam Smith. Here's the toss. Oh! Cam gets nailed almost on the head. Terrible pitch by Vargas. Where did he get hit? 99.1 miles an hour. Where did it get him? Oh, on the hand, back of the hand. Oh, right on the knuckle. Ow. So close to the face. Cam looks really lucky right now. It seems that the protection he had on his hands really protected him. They're testing the grip strength on his hand right now, but he's walking down to first base. He obviously wants to stay in. Holy freaking cow. Over 99 miles an hour right to the back of the hand. Bizzardo is warming up in the bullpen, and the pitching coach is now talking to Vargas. Bases are loaded with 2 outs for Jeremy Pena. Cam gets on, not in the way I was expecting. First off, good for your channel. What is good for my channel? You know what? I'm not interested in debating with you, so I'm just going to tell you bye-bye. You keep talking with me and the others about things that don't matter, and you're saying things that don't make any sense, and I just don't have any room in my life. Trust me, I don't have any room in my life for that kind of stuff, so sorry. Bye-bye. I wish you the best. Here's the first pitch to Pena. 99. Wow, I can't believe that was called a ball. just above the top of the zone. 1-0 is the count. Here comes a pitch from Vargas. It into the Crawford boxes. It just kept floating and floating and floating. It is 6-4. How about that, Jeremy? How about that? It's a 2-run game now in the bottom of the 7th. After Cam is hit by a pitch to load the bases, Pena comes up and the Flash does it. Big hit. The Flash does it. Look at this pitch. 98-mile-per-hour sinker inside, and he just turns on it and cranks it out. Correa is at the plate. 100 miles an hour. He hits it to the second baseman and grounds out for the 3rd out, but not before the Astros put 4 on the board. Finally, some life in the Astros. Look at that hit by Pena. Beautiful. Six to 4. Astros now with 8 hits. Submariners with 9. The Astros go out in the 7th inning and load up the boats. They completely load up the boats and fill all the traps. Pena takes control of the ship and brings them all back home. For the Astros fans, finally, we have something after about 18 innings of no runs. Grand slam. We are back in the game. It's not over yet, but we'll see. Still Viper comes in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. It's obvious what we're going to call this one. Still Vipers, $20. The Jeremy Flash Pena Grand Slam Super Chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. How about that? How about that? Caesar comes in with a $10 Super Chat sticker. Caesar, thank you so much, sir. Level up super chat sticker. That's hilarious. So you're saying there's a chance. That's right. Man. Whew. That gave me a little bit of a brain rush there. A little bit of a headache. Who's in the game for the Astros? It's now Okert. Oh, and 1 on that foul ball. Here comes the next pitch. J.P. Crawford at the plate. That's inside. Ball 1, 1-1. The defibrillator was used and we have a pulse, says Mark. Yep, we're still alive, but in the ER. 78 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone, strike 2. You better not be complaining about that call. That was actually in the zone. I don't want to hear anything about the Mariners batters complaining about bad calls. Not even once. I don't care how far outside of the zone it is. That one's hit straight up in the air on the infield. Correa's underneath it. Should be out number 1. And it is. 1 away here in the top of the 8th. There's that great catch by Cam earlier. One down. Randy Arozarena at the plate. Here comes Okert's first delivery to him. Little high and outside, ball one. That's right, Nightbot. Mark says good things happen when you kick out the Submariners fans. Little outside, but called a strike. The umpire gives us one back after about 30 egregious errors against us. He gives us one back. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice slider, low and inside. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 92 on the outside edge, fouled up and away. Count remains 1-2. They were showing earlier how Cam backed up Myers on this play. That caused him to stop a triple from happening. Myers caused us to lose an extra run, but Cam stopped the triple. Swing and a miss. 81 miles an hour slider. On the backswing, he hit Yiner with a bat, and he was apologizing for that. Yeah, you see he got him in the back of the helmet there. But he immediately turned around and checked on him. Good sportsmanship there. 2 outs. Cal Raleigh comes to the plate. Here comes the first pitch from Okert. Slider below the zone, ball one. Even Nightbot got excited. That's right. That was definitely more than a spark, Gable. You're right. That was definitely a jolt. Here's the pitch. Ground ball straight to Pena. Should be out number 3, and it is. 1, 2, 3 for Okert in the 8th. The crowd is actually alive right now and cheering the end of that inning. Haven't had many innings to cheer. The Mariners have scored in 5 innings, 5 of 8. But this is 3 up and 3 down. Little bit of fried Okert is served up for the Submariners. I'll be right back. I really need to stretch my legs and grab myself an electrolyte drink. Geaux Stros. We're going into the bottom of the 8th, guys and gals. Isak Paredes is due up. It's 6-4. Astros are down by 2. Be right back. Isak Paredes will be at the plate. Just a moment. It still says Vargas on the screen. Is he in the game? No, it's Bizardo. Bizardo's up facing Paredes. Here's the first pitch. 95 inside. Strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 toss to Paredes. Low and outside. Good take. 1-1. 95 up and in. Fouled off by Paredes. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. 1-2. Bizzardo on the mound, delivering to the Astros here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Paredes takes a strike right down the middle. 96 miles an hour sinker. Strike 3, and that's out number 1. Altuve's due up. Come on, Altuve. Got to make up 2 runs. 3 to win it. There's the first toss. Altuve rips it. He crushes it, but way too early. Way off into the crowd. Holy cow, that was a crush. 0-1 is the count. Abel says they're saying that it's a record-setting crowd tonight. Whoa! Bizzardo almost hits Altuve in the face. Altuve went diving to the ground to get out of the way. The crowd is booing. He says he's all right. Look at this. Man, what is with the Mariners? Going after the Astros here. It's 1-1. 96 right in there. He takes it for strike 2. Come on, Altuve. You got to return the favor, bro. Here comes the pitch. Outside and high. 2-2. Tex Pat wants to know, as a Louisiana native, do you prefer your gumbo with or without okert? If it's good. I'm very picky with my okert. If it's high quality and cooked well, then yes, I like the okert. Base hit into center field for Altuve. Another single for Altuve today. And we got a runner on first base. The tying run comes to the plate. The Batman, Victor Caratini. High fastball. Put right up the middle. Nice solid line drive. Here's Caratini. First pitch on the way. Inside, ball 1. I was saying the other day that I haven't seen a Caratini homer in a long time. He had 2 grand slams earlier this year in like less than a week, or in about a week. Low and inside again. 2-0. I haven't seen a Caratini blast in too long. It's been too long. Crowd is actually kind of lively right now. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Hey, it's down the line. It's going to be fair. All the way to the wall. Altuve's booking it around. He's going to have to stop at third base. Second and third with 1 out. He rips it right down the line. Just fair. The Batman comes through with a big hit. The winning run is going to come to the plate. Yainer Diaz is up. Look at him rip this ball. 94 in the bottom of the zone. And it bounces it right over the head of Naylor. There was no play there. Naylor was there, but he couldn't play it. It bounced really hard and bounced right over his head. They're going to come out and talk with Bizzardo and slow the game down right now. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Yainer is up with runners in scoring position. Tying run on second base. Dubon is going to come out and run for Caratini. Yainer has 2 hits today. This year, with runners in scoring position, he's batting .271 with some extra base hits. Give him a shiner, Yiner. Here's the pitch. 96. Fouls it off. Strike one. Tie game and then the lead. I'll take both. Here's the pitch. He hits that one way up in the air and he fouls it off again. 2 fouls in a row. 0-2 is the count. Come on, Yiner. He's had some really good swings this game. Pena watching intently from the dugout. Let's do it. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 at the top of the zone. Foul tip miss into the glove of the catcher, and that's it for Yiner in out number 2. Now it's on Jesus Sanchez. And they're not going to let Bizzardo pitch to the lefty Sanchez. What we might see right here is after the pitching change, they might bring in a different batter for Sanchez. Might bring in a righty. We'll see. Bizzardo's out. I can't imagine Joe Espada leaving Sanchez in to face a left-hander. I don't think that's going to happen. What a close game. It's not even the 9th. Mark says bounce Little Legends and we're guaranteed a base hit. What is Little Legends saying? Well, I will say this. If the Mariners were so great, then why would they be battling with the Astros for the division and for a playoff spot? I mean, the Astros have struggled this year, and they've had a ton of problems with injuries. They've used more than 30 pitchers. It's crazy. The lineup has been changed so many times. Guys getting injured multiple times. I'm not surprised to see Walker, really the only right-hander that you have. You know, Walker has struck out so many times recently. If he's able to get the 3-run homer here and give the Astros the lead, he's going to be the hero of this game, that's for sure. Gabe Spire is on the mound. Gabe Spire on the mound. Christian Walker at the plate. Right now, it's all come down to this. They say there's a pitch comm issue. The crowd boos before the first pitch. Well, a hit to score 2 runs is great. A home run is perfect, right? So I'll settle for great. But a perfect hit would be even better. Here's the first pitch from Spire. 97 right in there. He started to swing at it, but he held back and he took it for strike 1. Oh and 1. Crowd is really loud right now. Here's the pitch. 97 at the top of the zone. He fouls it off. 0 and 2. 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Bottom of the 8th. 0-2's the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Walker strikes out. I can't say that I'm surprised. I was hoping, but Walker strikes out again. How many strikeouts is that for Walker just in this series? Like 10 strikeouts? Yeah. What other options did we have, though? What other guys did we have on the bench? Trammell? Cole? We had Cole. I mean, he's a lefty, but Urias? Could have brought in Urias, but you wouldn't have had anybody to be at first base because Caratini's out. I mean, I'm not surprised they brought in Walker, though, because he needs to go to first base. If they brought in a pinch runner for Caratini, then they need somebody to cover first base. The only option they had, really, was Walker. But they were scraping the bottom of the barrel there to think that Walker was going to come in and get a big hit. But, you know, that's just the way it is. Urias or Cole would have been a better choice, but you had to have Walker because you can't put Urias or Cole at first base, you know, and there's nobody else to move over there. Your only options are Walker and Caratini, and Caratini was out. Six to 4, the Astros come up short in the 8th, but we still have one more inning to go. This is why we watch baseball. If it weren't interesting, we wouldn't watch it, right? If your baseball team won all the time, it would get boring, right? If there's no challenge, they just destroy everybody. I mean, if the Astros destroyed everybody all season long for one season and won the World Series, no problem, and swept it in 4 games, that'd be awesome. But if they did that every single year, you'd just stop watching, right? It wouldn't be interesting anymore. Brian Abreu is on the mound for the Stros as he's facing Julio Rodriguez. Here's the first toss. Strike? No. How did he call that a ball? 84 at the bottom of the zone called a ball for some reason. Here's the next pitch. Too far inside. I got the wrong picture on the screen. There it is. Here's the next pitch. Tapper on the right side. Walker picks it up and takes it himself to get the out. One down here in the top of the 9th. Astros can still walk it off. I mean, what would you rather see? A really close 8th inning where they come up with nothing and then a walk-off in the 9th? Or would you rather see them take the lead in the 8th and then have a nail-biter in the top of the 9th? Either way, it's a nail-biter. Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez at the plate fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the toss. Pitch at the wall. Suarez with a couple of doubles today tries to get another one, but Dubon makes a jumping catch right at the wall at the last moment for out number 2. A couple of great catches out here by these outfielders. Dubon there. Look at that. A little catch. Great catch by Cam. A great catch by Dubon. 2 away. Jorge Polanco comes to the plate. Call him George instead of Jorge. George Polanco. Ball 1. 1-0. Yeah, they couldn't bring Dubon in to hit because he was pinch running. 85 miles an hour right in there. Strike 1. Counts even. Andres Munoz warming up in the bullpen for the Submariners. 1 ball, 1 strike to Polanco. He steps back into the batter's box. Here's a pitch. Low and inside. JD, you said we can still win the series with a win tomorrow. What do you mean? Are you talking about the season series? If you're talking about the Astros, then no, that's impossible. The Astros have to win today and tomorrow because they're down by 1 right now. 97 in the zone, fouled off. The count is even, 2-2. This 3-game series and the season series will be lost if the Astros lose today. They have to win today and tomorrow. 97 up and out, fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Not really interested in the Red Sox right now. Hey, look at that. Check swing. Polanco strikes out. Abreu has a wonderful 1-2-3 inning with a little help from Dubon out in left field. That's it for the top of the 9th. No more runs, so it's completely up to the Astros bats to come up and do something. Bottom of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th coming up. This game is down to the wire right now. We'll see if there are any batting changes, but as of right now, if I can speak correctly, Jake Myers is due up, followed by Cam Smith and Jeremy Pena. We'll see. Pena with a really big hit in the 7th. The grand slam that brought us close. We're still 2 away. Yeah, in order for the Astros to win the season series against the Mariners, they must win today and tomorrow. Can't lose any more games against the Mariners. Must win both games today and tomorrow. Jason Alexander is scheduled to pitch for the Astros tomorrow, but for the Mariners, let's take a quick look. Gilbert? Logan Gilbert. So it's Logan Gilbert versus Jason Alexander tomorrow. Here we go, guys and gals. It's the bottom of the 9th. Let's get focused. Wow. LSU over Southeast Louisiana in the 3rd, 42-7. They're handling that game like they're supposed to. No surprise there. Andres Munoz in the game, swing and a miss on that slider to Jake Myers. Andres Munoz. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Oh, he hit him on the hand. Oh, my gosh. Myers is hurt. Man, I could hear that one when it went off his hand. You could hear it. Cam gets hit on the hand. Now Myers gets hit on the hand. The Mariners are like, hey, if for some reason we can't make it to the postseason, we're going to make sure that you guys don't. One way or the other. This is the Astros season right here, man. Just constantly getting injured. Oh, look at this. Seattle is actually challenging the hit by pitch. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Seattle is challenging the call on the field of hit by pitch. I think that what they're trying to say is that he swung the bat, but I don't think so. It definitely hit his hand. Maybe they're trying to say that he swung the bat. What are they thinking? Look at this. Wow, that clearly hit his hand, and he wasn't swinging. Overturn that call. They're taking a look at it. They were taking a look at Myers' hand there. No, he definitely wasn't swinging. I thought at first maybe they thought he was swinging. Call in the field stands. He's hit by pitch. The Submariners lose their challenge. Myers stays on first base. No outs. And guess what? Zach King Cole comes to the plate. They're going to let him bat. They set down Cam Smith, one rookie for another. They set down the old rookie and bring in the fresh rookie. Tying run with no outs at the plate. Come on, Mr. Zach King Cole. Be the hero, baby. In the dirt, ball one. Yeah, I think that what the Mariners were saying was that it hit the end of the bat, but it clearly hit his hand, so I think that was a wasted challenge. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Munoz. Swings at that one, 83 below the zone. Still Viper says $20 if we tie this inning, $50 if we walk it off. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. 85 mile per hour slider right in the zone. 1-2. Let's go, Stros Super Chat. Here comes the pitch, the 1-2. Cole strikes out with a swing and a miss. 84 mile per hour slider, a pitch that I would think that he'd be able to get 84 miles an hour right in the zone. Cole goes down swinging. Payne with the grand slam, his last at bat. And now he has an opportunity to do something here. J.P. Crawford says his pitch comm isn't working, so he gets a new pitch comm. Something you don't see very often. Pena at the plate. Are they going to stop the game again? The Mariners manager comes out of the dugout and he's like, never mind. What are you doing, man? Now he's coming back. What are they doing? Are they messing around like the Rangers? Keeps stopping the game. And then he says, never mind. The umpire comes over like, what do you need? He's like, oh, never mind. I just wanted to hold things up. First pitch to Pena coming up with 1 out. Runner on first. Here's the toss. Low, below the zone. Ball 1. Jake Myers on first base, everybody. Yes, stalling, slowing the game down, trying to break the tempo here. Here comes a 1-0 pitch from Munoz. 98 at the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. 1-1. Well, Pena hitting the clutch. Here's the pitch. 98 on the outside edge. Pena shaking his head. That was called a strike. But once again, you know, just a little outside. The umpire likes those. Not in the zone at all, but called strike 2. Here's the 1-2. In the dirt, way outside and low. Surprised the umpire didn't call that a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A double homer back-to-back for Pena. That sure would be nice. Tie it up right here with one crack of the bat. Another Crawford box visit. Onegaishimasu. Here's the pitch. Whoa, almost hit him. Full count. Too far inside. Pena got his hands out of the way. What is it with the Mariners pitchers trying to hit the Astros on the hands? Full count. Here comes the toss. Slider low and outside. Ball 4. Pena throws the bat down. Good take. He did not chase it. Runners on first and second. We've got a runner in scoring position with Carlos Correa at the plate. We got the go-ahead run at the plate. Correa has had no luck against Munoz in his career. He's only faced him 6 times. Now would be the perfect time to turn that around. Here's the pitch. Ooh, low and outside, swing and a miss on the slider. 1 down. We are in the bottom of the 8th, guys and gals, with runners on first and second. Carlos Correa at the plate. The winning run. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Oh my gosh, Myers was off and running. He thought that that ball was going to get down. Robles makes the catch. A hit to right center field by Correa. It almost gets down. Robles comes in, makes a great catch, but Myers was off and running all the way around to home plate, and they double him off at second base. Myers thought for sure it was going to be down, but he misplayed it, and he gets doubled off on second base. So it's going to end on a bad base running decision by Jake Myers. Astros lose 6-4. Yep, bad base running. I mean, he was trying to score, but you know what? Isn't it a basic? It's a baseball basic. If you're not sure that that ball is going to get down, you can't do that. You can't do that. So close. But once again, how many times do we have to say it in baseball? Close doesn't matter. Almost is never good enough. And yeah, Luke, that's a good question. Why did the third base coach signal him? Yeah, Paris Chica was pointing to go home, go home, go home. He didn't help him, did he? Nobody thought that that ball was going to get down, but Robles came in and saved it, and then it was super easy. Robles could have jogged that ball to second base and tagged the base himself because Myers was already home. That was absolutely terrible. The Astros played that like the Yankees, just completely forgetting their fundamentals. I have no words to describe that. Yeah, it was a great catch. I mean, I said it was a good catch, but just bad base running, a combination of a good catch and bad base running. But you know what? That's what happens when you let a team get 6 runs on the board and you just keep missing opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. The Astros had 18 lobsters today. That means they had 18 guys on base that were not moved around. 18. And the only reason they have 4 runs on the board is because of a grand slam by Jeremy Pena. If you take away that one grand slam, then the Astros would have had nothing on the board. So, but whether you think it's going to be down or not doesn't matter. What matters is that you make sure. Now, if the Astros were up, if they were up by like 5 or 6 runs and Myers does that, I'm not going to be very upset about it because they're getting greedy and they're being aggressive to try to expand the lead. But when you're talking about the end of the game, and if you make a mistake like that, the game is over, You can't make that mistake. That's a fundamental error. You can't do that. Yeah, the Astros are now down 2 games to the Mariners in the division. Still, Viper, I appreciate that. That's a consolation prize. Viper says with the super chat, dang, it's okay, guys. Everyone have a great night. Prayers and good health to everyone. Thank you so much for the positive comments in the positive super chat. Super positive super chat. Definitely good vibes, health, and happiness to you, Viper, and all. There we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. But you know what? The Mariners don't really have too much of a problem in the regular season, right? It's how they perform in the playoffs that's the problem. So until they actually do something in the playoffs, they're not going to convince anybody. The Astros beat themselves today. That's the truth of it. Fromber once again let us down. The Astros bats once again let us down. They came in too little too late. You know, you can't come in the 7th inning with 1 hit to put 4 runs on the board and expect that to do it. Now, if the Astros pitching had been there, we could have won that game easily with 1 grand slam. It's possible. But in a game where you go through 6 straight innings without scoring any runs at all, and then you don't score any runs in the 8th or the 9th, you can't just rely on the runs that you score in 1 inning to win the game. And on top of that, you've got a pitcher who just has fallen off his rocker in Framber Valdez. You know, if you guys go back to the beginning of the season, I actually defended Framber a lot because I felt like he had made a lot of progress. And at the time, he had made a lot of progress in getting his mind straight. He didn't have the kind of meltdowns that we saw last year. But then he started falling apart, and he lost me. I stopped defending him when I saw him hit Cesar Salazar. It's not because he hit Salazar or crossed him up. It's because he didn't respond to it immediately. He didn't say, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I mean, what kind of a person does that? If you're a pitcher and you throw a pitch and your catcher is not expecting that pitch, and so it hits him, and then you as the pitcher don't apologize immediately, and react in an apologetic way, what does that say about you as a person? What kind of person have you chosen to be that could completely ignore? I don't care if you just gave up a grand slam like Fromber did. I don't care if you've just had this terrible inning and then it culminates with a grand slam. If you come right back 2 pitches later and you hit your catcher, if you're so wrapped up in yourself and in your own head that you don't even see that you just potentially really hurt somebody, your teammate, if you don't actually acknowledge that, then how can I defend you? I can't defend that. So Fromber lost me. I'll be happy to see him go, but disappointed at the same time. It's just the way it is. Yeah, that's right, Marduk. We'll always have Pena's Grand Slam to remember the good times. Absolutely right. What could have been? This could have been an amazing comeback. What an amazing comeback this could have been. But the Astros just fall short. Yeah, 4 runs in 2 games won't get it done. Definitely. And getting 4 runs so late in the game after giving up runs is not going to help either. So you're right about that. There's not a whole lot to look at. I'm very interested in catching the last quarter of the LSU Tigers Southeast Louisiana game. I'll get to that shortly. This is a blowout. But let's take a look at the Astros game here and then the scoreboard. There's really not a whole lot to look at in today's game, so we'll take a quick look at tomorrow's game. I mean, the bottom line for today was the Astros, got a grand slam courtesy of Jeremy Payne in the 7th, and that was the only real hitting that they had in that inning. And everything else was just letting the Mariners score consistently throughout the game like they did yesterday. Just nickel and dime the Astros to death, and then we ran out of innings, But tomorrow, the game will be at 8 o'clock, just a little bit earlier, 10 minutes earlier tomorrow than it was today, for those of you who don't know. It's 8 o'clock a.m. for me, that is, depending on your time zone. The game today was about 10 minutes later than it will be tomorrow. So whatever time it started for you today, it will be 10 minutes earlier tomorrow, and I will be here for game 3. So I'll see you guys and gals tomorrow. Logan Gilbert will be on the mound for the Submariners, facing Jason Alexander. Let's hope we can salvage one game. Otherwise, we're going to be kicking ourselves out of the playoffs. They got to lock it down. The Rangers lost again today. Let's take a look at the full scoreboard right quick. Let's see what the other teams did today. The Angels beating the Rockies 3-0 in the 9th. Dodgers losing to the Giants in the 4th. That's always nice to see, the draft Dodgers losing. The Tigers lost to the Braves 6-5. 85-70 are the Tigers. This is such a great opportunity. If the Astros have been able to win this series, they could have moved up ahead of the Tigers. We could have been in a much better seat, a driving position for the playoffs. But no. And the Guardians have been coming back. They won today over the Twins 6-0, and they're now 83-71. Let's see here. It's always nice to see the Curbs lose. The A's lost to the Pirates 2-0. Red Sox won, unfortunately. Got that 6-3 over the Rays. The Stankies beat the Orioles. The Strangers lost to the Marlins. Rangers down to 79-76. They haven't got to 80 wins yet. So things could be worse. Could be a Rangers fan, right? 84-71 are the Astros right now. And another thing is that the Blue Jays lost again. 2-1. The Royals beat them. It's really sad because recently, because of the losses of the Blue Jays and the Tigers, if the Astros had just kept winning, they could have passed up these teams. It's possible they could have passed them up. If they keep playing like this, if the other teams keep playing like they have been, the Astros could have really moved on up. They could have passed up the Blue Jays. It's not unbelievable. It's just that they haven't been hitting consistently. Once again, it's the coin toss thing. The Astros are a coin toss from one day to the next. So that's unfortunate. That's going to be it. I think that's all I have for you today. And let's take one last look at the live chat. See if I missed anything. Yeah, not having Jordan definitely hurts, but you know what, Luke? It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter if Jordan is in or not. The rest of the Astros have to hit the ball, period. They have to. So whether Jordan, having him in definitely helps. But JD is right. Jordan isn't saving this mess. That's true. Jordan helps, okay? Jordan is a big help. But if you have a family member who's trying to get their life together, maybe they got a drinking problem or something, or a drug problem, and they're like, today I'm going to be cleaned up. So they take a shower, they shave, they put on a suit and tie, they go out and they get a job and they start working, and 3 days in a row, you're like, holy cow, they've been to work 3 days in a row. They're killing it. Just like the Astros did with the Rangers. And then suddenly the next day they don't go to work and the boss is calling and you're like, hey, you didn't go to work today? And they're at home again, drunk because they took their money that they made from those 3 days and bought a bunch of alcohol, and they go right back to boozing it up. That's kind of how the Astros are batting, in that same type of way. Abel says, have a great day on purpose. Great day on purpose. Super chat. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much, Abel, for that super chat. I appreciate that. I really do. Let's see here. What else are we missing? Steel Viper says, I think with this loss, Cleveland jumped us for the last wild card spot, so we definitely need to step it up. Yeah, let's see. The Guardians are 83 and 71. The Astros are 84 and 71. It's close. Let me take a look at the playoff picture. I think I can pull that up on my screen. MLB playoff picture. I can show you the bracket. This is the bracket right now. Okay, so this is 1 day out of date. This is as of yesterday. As of yesterday, it was the Astros and the Tigers lined up to play. But with the rankings or the record, Astros are 84 and 71. Well, actually, the Astros have one more win than the Guardians do. Cleveland is 83 and 71. So there is a slight difference. A slight difference. The Astros have one more win. They have played one more game than the Guardians. But it is neck and neck. You're right, though. It is very close. No, JD's not a Mariners fan, just a frustrated Astros fan. That's all. Thank you very much, Mr. Page. We lost a great show. I appreciate that. You're great too. All of you in the chat there, all of you who are being positive and supportive, all of you are great. You deserve better. I will do my best to contact Joe Espada, and just to let you know, I'm trying to get together the information to reveal this weekend the winners, the main winner, and then the postcard winners of my contest. So I hope you will be here for that. I'd like to go ahead and reveal that tomorrow. It's just hard to do it during the game because this series and these games are so important. But I'll try to get it together for tomorrow. If I don't, then I might just make a separate video and then post that. But either way, in the next couple of days, you will see the winners of the contest. So be on the lookout for that. Yes, have a great day on purpose, everybody. Yeah, the Guardians do hold the tiebreaker. That's right. So if we wind up tying, that's not going to be good for us. Let's see here. 83 and 71. You said they're 84 and 71? That's strange. Maybe it's just the ESPN site. The ESPN site, maybe it's not updated because right over here, if you look over here, it says right there. It says 83 and 71. Okay, up here it's correct. It's updated up here. So it is 84 and 71. That's right. That's the thing about the ESPN site is that some pages don't update, but over here it is correct. They have won so many games in a row. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row they've won. And before that, they lost 1 and then they won 5. So they won 5 in a row, lost 1, and then won 10 in a row. They have been going crazy. Wow. That's insane. sweeping teams, sweeping the White Sox, sweeping the Tigers, and they're in the process of sweeping the Twins. Absolutely nuts, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. Rusty Gamer, thank you so much for that live that super sticker. Super sticker. Arigato. Boston and Cleveland both jumped us. Yep. Astros are playing around too much, fooling around. We might miss it unless we just win out. They could. You never know. That's the thing. The Astros, like I said, are a coin toss. They could win every single game for the rest of the season. They could lose every single game for the rest of the season, or they could just do win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for the rest of the season. I'm not surprised in any case, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we have a better result. But we have no way of knowing until tomorrow. Until the game is finished tomorrow, we just will not know. I appreciate you all. We almost got to 100 likes today. I'm sure we would have been closer to 200 likes if the Astros had been pulling it off. But a lot of people just weren't interested in being here today. And I get it. It's difficult to watch when they're not hitting the ball and they're giving up runs. But that's all for today. I'm going to end it right here and say Geaux Stros. And once again, all the super chats, all the support, the likes, the subscriptions, and the positive comments, thank you so much for all of that. I do hope all of you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow's. Geaux Stros. And goodbye for now. Bye-bye.